jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out that more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
What up, it's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and right now you tune into World Combat Sports.
What's going on? WCS back at it again. Hey, salute to all the supporters that's in the building. Big blunts and boxing on deck. What's good? He said, OG about to tell it like it is today. Salute to the Unk, everybody that walks in. Don't forget to jab that like button. Hit the motherfucker with that uppercut. Yes, sir. Appreciate you pulling up. Everyone is here. Neezy on deck. What's good with it? EJ running. Boy, what's good? What's good? What's good with you? Yeah, we need to talk about who's running, man. Who's a track star? Look, I told some people who was reaching out and telling me I'm a hater and all this other shit. I told them I was going live and they have every right to pull up and everything. But listen, obviously what I'm saying is getting back because y'all want to reach out in anonymous freaking accounts and try to explain to me what's going on. Still trying to be biased, thinking I'm stupid, trying to tell me the hold up is Crawford and all this other shit. First, I want to start off by saying we have had two big names, Captain Chaos on deck. What's good? Wild Dog in the building. You know what I'm saying? Pop on deck. So we have two of these fighters that's on the pound for pound list for quite some time. They wasn't exactly as close as they are in recent months, but they've been on the pound for pound list. You feel me? And those individuals is Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Okay. And then come around, that the Alexander Usyk start to come into play with Anthony Joshua. They start to finagle a little bit. Naoya in a way, he knocked out some more people. He stopped Nonito Donaire, you know what I'm saying? The older fighter who had the opportunity to move over to the WBC, defeat Nordino Bali and then come back and lose and all that. They want to keep him up at the top three. You know how the shuffling goes, right? You know how the shuffling goes. But somebody who wasn't on there was Jamel Charlo. And people was up here advocating, oh man, he should be on the pound for pound list. He should do this, that, and the other. He came off a draw with Castaño and then turned back around and stopped him. I praised him for it. But I have the biggest question of all. How can you have two fighters who are unified champions in their respected divisions refuse to smoke with one fighter? How can it be that way, man? How can you have two fighters that's contending under the same coach, living in the same state, competing in the same sport, the same ethnicity, not want smoke with the same fighter? How is that remotely possible that these two guys don't want no smoke, man? How? Let's go back. Let's go back a couple of months, right? Let's go back a couple of months. Mr. Gumbo on deck. What's good, Gumbo? Salute that WCS and fam in chat. Salute to you, that Gumbo. So check this out. Check this out. We all heard what Mike Tyson said to Maul Charlo, and he was absolutely spot on. You heard what he said. He said, if that's your brothers, you eat with your brothers and this, that, and the other, right? This is an article written in March 24th of this year. This is Mel Charlo. I will never fight Spence, Charlo told Brian Custer on the Last Stand podcast. I can't fight my stablemate. I'm not interested. We have the same coach. How is we going to work two corners? How is he going to work two corners? Nah, I'll move up or we'll dominate the mug together. I ain't selfish on the belts. I'm on my way to win them all right now. And then vacate. Listen. And then vacate. And then my boy got to want to win them. He said, and then my boy got to want to win them. He's talking about Errol Spence. It goes on to end. We brothers, man. Spence said, brothers supposed to break bread, right? I'm hitting you with some real shit because I've been sick and tired of hearing all these damn channels come out here and then put the blame and point the finger with an extended arm and shit. Like they're holding a long range and they point at Omaha, right? But I just want to highlight some particulars. Errol Spence closed this article out by saying, we brothers, Spence said. Brothers supposed to break bread, right? Let me let that motherfucker marinate with you right quick, man. Let me let that shit marinate in you. Just like quills from a porcupine that you just so happen to stumble upon, it was too late. Let that shit marinate. These are two fighters that refuse to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. Jermell Charlo has death by 1,000 excuses, death by 1,000 snot bubbles, death by whining, complaining. Oh, let me deflect. Let me send him over here. Why don't he fight Erickson Lubin? Lubin probably looked at that shit like, nigga, I don't need you to fight my battles. Why are you sending him to me? I got my team. My coach is Kevin Cunningham, not Derrick James. What are you doing that shit for me for? And then Errol Spence, he has had ample amount of time to understand what he was getting himself into. I heard Fanon, and there's no knock on Fanon. I'm just highlighting people's shit. I heard Fanon put up a title that says Terrence Crawford's acting like a diva, right? And I don't get pissed at all this. You know, I only feel some type of way when somebody start to call you out your name and all that. But I'm just highlighting what Fanon said. Fanon said Terrence Crawford is acting like a diva. You know, the man in that you know, Al Heyman report to him. You know, when we talk about the books, when we talk about good business, and it kind of disturbed me a little bit because obviously this is the person who deals with language, who deals with documentation, who deals with the legal aspects of research. That is what he does. I don't consider it diva if a person wants to have security on what exactly they're signing. At this point in their career, is no recovery. Terrence Crawford's not trying to go in there to a contract and get locked in by his ankles. And then, you know, they get in a contract dispute like Mikey Garcia was back in the day. And then he's supposed to be fighting on his last years in boxing. But yeah, he in a contract dispute with Al Heyman. You know, you all know how that's going to go now. You have people doing interviews talking about how messed up these contracts are. So Terrence Crawford now, you know, is standing at the front door. He's asking questions, man. Crawford's asking motherfucking questions. Let me get to this chat. He's asking motherfucking questions. Tony Boswell on that. What's good? Much respect at World Combat Sports in the chat. Stop in the show support and hit the like button. Working and listening, no doubt. Appreciate you pulling up. Tony on deck. But I say, Mr. Gumbo, I've been dealing with this shit for about 5 days now. I'm baby sick too. I definitely feel you, OG. What you say, Mr. Gumbo? You sick? Let me see. Oh, you got a cold, man, for sure, man. When we was growing up, with a cold, what you do for a cold, man. Shit, you know what I'm saying? They use the old school remedy. You pop the bottle, you goddamn drink like 3 or 4 shots, and let that shit do what it's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Unique on deck, what's good? Omaha right here, what's good? What's good, Unique? Appreciate you pulling up. Bud gonna stop Spence for none and creep and the fabricator and his finest. Hey, that's what you said, not me. But I just look, I'm not discriminating against anything y'all saying in here. I just it's not up for me to understand how a grown-ass man who is trying to negotiate the biggest fight is being a diva by basically holding somebody accountable in the position of Al Heyman that the paperwork is correct. And I further get frustrated when it's my own brothers, man. What's going on with us? Why are y'all out here just letting everybody know that you're open chested and you sold your soul? So anything can enter and anything can exit. You know what I'm saying? You sold your soul to push a narrative for one promotion. We talk about business all day long. We see fighters come on YouTube every now and then, and they haven't been fighting. And people ask them, "Oh, why you haven't been fighting?" Or I had a contract situation and I was tied in. And I heard somebody talking about, a fighter can be in a 360 deal in boxing. Yeah, you can be locked in with another manager. You may not be with that manager anymore. You be signed to a new manager, but that manager still getting a percentage of what you're making. And then you still may have tenure on your contract with that previous manager that you still have to honor, and you're obligated. So a percentage comes out the check and go to somebody who has nothing to do with that fight you just did. Then you got to pay the manager you're currently with and everything else that goes along with it. And you're not released from that contractual obligation until the contract says you are, per the date that you sign. So why would Bud Crawford not take the opportunity to make sure his business is in order? Don't talk smart just when it's good. It's a lot of people in the business. Talk smart when nobody's looking, goddammit. Talk smart in the private chats when y'all try to come up with all these damn topics of discussion to sit up here and denigrate what's going on with this fight. Hold yourself accountable when nobody's looking. That's all I'm telling you. If y'all think Bud is doing something wrong by holding his ground and making sure that the paperwork is in order and everything like that, man, how do y'all run your own personal lives with that shit? Because it's almost like you want to see this brother on his back bent over. You want to see him in a fetal position. You want to say, yeah, we can laugh at his dumb ass now. He made the damn stupidest mistake ever, man. He wait to the back end of his career to sign away his life. Al Heyman got control now. Yeah, that's great. Al Heyman got control. I mean, what are we doing? Let me reiterate what I just said now. They putting all these stipulations on Crawford, right? But this was the same brothers. We brothers. Listen to that. Let that sit with you, man. We brothers, not our brothers. Just leave up all that. We brothers. Direct. Spence said, brothers supposed to break bread, right? So I'm curious as to what bread you're trying to break with Crawford. What bread is that? Just allow us to know what bread you're talking about, brother, because it doesn't make sense. What bread are you speaking on? Molded bread? Stale bread? What bread are you talking about? Because this is not too long ago in March. This is the same calendar year we're in right now. And not too long ago, you said we brothers. Jamel Charlo is up here talking about he'll never fight Spence and all this other shit. Damn, he'll never fight Crawford either. God damn it. Brian Custer, I know he didn't have that on his radar back then. He should have asked him, well, are you willing to fight another worthy contender down there at 147 pounds named Terrence Bud Crawford, who sits in front of your stablemate on the pound for pound list? Hell no. The light boy? Oh, hell no, man. I see these light boys. See, let me tell you that, Brian. One thing he need to do, he need to learn how to humble himself. He need to learn how to be the challenger. He need to learn how to take less money. He need to learn how to shut up. He need to learn how to sit down. That's what that nigga was saying. He was saying all that shit. It sounded like a plantation. Man, it sounded like the plantation to me, bro. It sounded like the one that's telling on you. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be out there doing and working hard and breaking your back, and you slipped out and took a piss by the tree. And Jamel Charlo go, hey, you see, you supposed to kept on. You supposed to pissed on yourself and kept on. We got a timeline. You supposed to kept on working. I gotta tell on you. We brothers, right? Man, I don't want to hear that brother shit. How are we supposed to get this together, though? How are we supposed to get these two together? You know what I'm saying? How are we supposed to get these two together? How are we supposed to get Jamel Charlo and Errol Spence together for one of them to take the fight with Terrence Bud Crawford? We just need one of these cats, because right now it doesn't seem like the fight is happening anytime soon with Errol Spence. So therefore, how do we get Jamel Charlo on board? And they just happen to be seated underneath the same name, Al Heyman. So this is actually two ducks. I know there's some team members is out there saying, hey, it's not ducking. I believe, Spence is want to fight and all that. But listen, if you're trying to convince me that you don't have no say so in standing up and saying, you know what, let's treat him just like we did Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Yadinas Ugas, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia. Did they just get the net profit? It's kind of disgraceful to think that when it comes down to boxing, right? They say it's a business first. This ain't business. This motherfucking shit that you see going on right here, this ain't motherfucking business. You can't consider this business if you look at Mikey, Sean, Danny, and Yordinas. His last four opponents did not have these restrictions placed upon them. They wasn't stabbed in the back when it came to the biggest fight, where both of these fighters totally understand that they're in the hurt business and they're taking damage just like everybody else. It's disrespectful, man. These are the same people who was talking so much shit about Top Rank, but now they're sitting up here glorifying the black man for doing the exact same thing, but worse than they was accusing Bob Arum of doing. Neither one of you cats can fight Crawford. Y'all both unified champions. None of y'all motherfuckers can fight Crawford. He can't be the boogeyman like that, bro. Y'all can't be that paranoid. Y'all can't be, man. You can't sit up here and tell me that Jamel Charlo haven't been making excuses every time Crawford name has popped up for him moving up and possibly fighting him and calling out Jamel Charlo. Jamel has had nothing but freaking excuses. Errol Spence has pretended like he wanted to fight. I'm coming for those motherfucking belts. Man, it's just banter, bro. Just like when he left the arena after Crawford stopped Sean Porter. Come on, man. He said, God damn, I can't fuck with this dude. I hit Sean Porter with a clean left hook, and his glove barely grazed the canvas. You feel me? He said that's why he was shaking his head, saying, I can't fuck with him. I'm about to go talk to Al about this shit. I can't fuck with him. He just stopped Sean Porter. Look, I don't care what Sean Porter or anybody else say. You know about the punching power and nothing like that. The man has all stoppages. I repeat, it's been spoke on before. So I really don't give a fuck about all these other channels that's coming here to my Bud holding up the fight. Bud doing this. Bud don't want to just sign the contract. Bud said he signed everything, but he didn't sign his life away by Al Heyman, not letting him see the books. Just sign the damn contract and fight. Okay, be the dummy, be stupid. You know what I'm saying? Be the idiot I want you to be, and just sign your life away so you can be stuck in a contractual, agreement that you ain't gonna get the fights that you want. That's exactly what they want. They want Bud Crawford to step up here and just sign anything. And then they end up switching some shit up. Just like they used to talk about the contract that Ludabella attempted to negotiate behind the scenes with Deontay Wilder 3-fight deal. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't guaranteed he was going to get Anthony Joshua. But, you have people on the YTC has spoken about, unsavory business dealings on him on YouTube, but then turn right around right here, right now in 2022, as we on the back end in the last semester of this year, we have individuals on here all getting together and lying. They're just getting together in line because as a human being in life, as they operate themselves, they're liars. They get on here and straight up bogus ass lie about shit that they wouldn't do in their own life. They want Crawford, somebody who's actually in the ring lacing up. They want him to go sign a bogus ass contract, one that doesn't benefit him financially. That contract doesn't benefit him financially, nor does it make sense business-wise for him to go up here and sign a contract where they're placing stipulations on him for no goddamn reason. This is not in somebody else's backyard. This fight was supposed to be on neutral grounds. He turned around and they sit up there and say, "Well, yeah, we'll give you some on the net profits, but you ain't gonna see the book, so we can verify the numbers to see if I'm getting what I'm supposed to get." But then you have people thinking it's demands, it's diva demands. How is it diva demands though? It's no excuses for people getting on here acting like a fighter, especially in Crawford's position, shouldn't double check and make sure the language is where it's supposed to be. The aerosexuals don't want the fight, so they're okay with every move Spence make, right or wrong. You're right. You're right. They don't care. They don't care about what Crawford's trying to sign. Just pick up the pen. Pick up the pen. That's all they want. They want a motherfucker to pick up the pen and laugh. They want him to pick up the pen, ink that shit, and laugh later. Then when the details come out, Crawford's locked into a 3-fight contract. Not guaranteed he'll get Errol Spence, but he's locked in 3-fight contract, and he's fighting some fighters that don't make sense to boxing. He's on the pound for pound list. Why would he do that? Why would his team allow him to do that? Where was his attorneys? All these motherfucking questions will be presented. Especially out here in the media. They will ask, why did he do that? And this is coming from two individuals, right? Who are stablemates who had a conversation about this. They can't convince, Mel Charlo can't convince Errol Spence that, hey man, if you want to become undisputed like me, get in the ring and fight him. Damn, fight the man. Y'all giving this man restrictions and obstacles that you did in your last 4 fights, man. And people looking at this like it ain't just about the brothers, because Sean Porter, he got paid pretty good. That's not the point. Sean Porter had a belt that they knew they can get. You know what I'm saying? Sean Porter, they're trying to say that Sean Porter's on his way out for retirement. Okay. A lot of people say Adenis Uga's black, but they'll forget he's Cuban and everything. And he didn't even have these freaking stipulations placed upon him, but When it comes to Bud Crawford, the Omaha freaking monster, you know, they come up here and act like all the restrictions that we have now been made aware of out here at the YTC, they're extremely relevant for Crawford. If you ask any of these Bud sexuals and the Spence aerosexuals and the motherfucking Spencerholics, if you ask them that shit, they act like they don't understand no English. I mean, no habla no English. You ask them about the shit that you hear that's going on right now. Do you think it's fair? It don't have nothing to do with being fair. Al Heyman, the boss, he's the one that's running shit over there. What I'm asking you, okay, Spencerholic, just put the glass down for a second. All right, pay attention, focus, stay on topic. Do you think it's fair if his last four opponents has not been taken through the rigors of trying to understand why this contract doesn't benefit both fighters damn near equally? Why is it nowhere close to being leveled? Do you think it's fair for him just to get the net pay and they don't get a chance to verify the numbers? Like I said before, it ain't up to me. I'm not there in the negotiation table. So why the fuck you doing motherfucking lives then? You get on live, you act like you know what you're talking about, but goddamn, you don't want to answer a simple question? Just answer the motherfucking question, bro. Do you think it's fair when it comes down to business relations? Do you think it benefits both fighters of this magnitude? That's all I'm fucking asking you. Well, like I said before, Al Heyman, all right, man. All right, cool. We don't have nothing else to talk about. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'm back to being quiet, though. You know, shout out to New Media Today USA. What's good? Coach Malachi on deck. He said the irony. Man, it is on a whole nother level, bro. House niggas. See, you're gonna get people up here starting to talk that shit. Because listen, I don't even try to make it about that. You know, when people say facts, house niggas, and all that. You know, I was listening to Coach Malachi's live, and look, he had a disgruntled caller who was talking about Wakanda niggas. Look, I didn't even have to ask a question what he meant. I knew what the fuck he was talking about. You Wakanda niggas? Who in their right mind is defending that shit? Come on, bro. Come on, you can't read in between the lines, man. Oh my God, dude, come on, man. I'm not here to goddamn motivate you to be smarter. Fuck that, dog. They're gonna try to argue about Wakanda. Man, I just don't like you talking about Wakanda. No, nigga, focus the attention on this shit right here. Why can't we get the fight? Why is black media sitting up here acting dumbfounded when they ask the question? Not all black media, but I'm saying you being asked the question, why are they doing this to Bud? He has the WBO strap. It wouldn't be so much a concern for me if Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez just didn't fight. And Caleb got over 10 million, bro. What is the excuse? You're going to continue to sit up here and embrace and caress and hug and goddamn flower and fan down with palm leaves and shit, Canelo Alvarez, because he's the cash cow. That's why? No. Who was Caleb Plant signed to? That's my bigger question. Like, who was he signed to? The man had an IBF title. He hasn't held any other title at super middleweight. Crawford hasn't held any other title at welterweight. So therefore, my question is to you. If it was good for Caleb Plant and he was paid pretty handsomely, why can't we accommodate the other side who's from Omaha, Nebraska? Why the fuck we can't make that shit happen, bro? That's all I'm saying, man. Why can't we make this shit happen? It's fucked up. Real talk. It's fucked up. I tell y'all all the time, I don't group boxing as an entity. Boxing, there's no way possible you can group boxing as an entity. You can group Bellator and the UFC as an entity because they're a promotion with the president, okay? They're a promotion with the president. Boxing is not regulated. Boxing doesn't have a president. I've mentioned this over and over again. You cannot group boxing as a single entity or organization. No, within the banner, beneath the banner of boxing, you have so many branches that's bearing fruit in this sport. You don't know who's eating from where. And just because there's so many people that's able to move and groove on how they see fit, is nobody really sitting up here and managing it. Who's the organizer? Who's in control? Who's the decision maker? Is it just one person? No, it would never be that way, because the sport has been around from the test of time, and these motherfuckers out here eating money off the backs of those individuals that's going in there to fight. They're eating off the backs, man. Some fighters benefit, but it should tell you like this: if we cannot reciprocate a Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez, then you should see a problem that's going on here. If the business model is still fragment up to this point, then guess what? I mean, how do we make change? It's not going to come from the YTC. You know, change is not coming from the YTC to force Errol Spence to damn stand up and say, "Hey, this is what I need to happen." You know what I'm saying? He can't say fuck all the legends who think he's not going to win this fight. It comes a point in time where people always talk about what an activist and how vocal and how much courage Muhammad Ali had, and how he had to go up there before the commission or whatever and just talk about him being a conscientious objector and refusing to go into the draft and so forth. And then they try to compare him to declining to serve in the United States military to what he did in boxing. But yet when it comes down to this fight right here, nobody's comparing it to anything, because we don't give a fuck. Nobody's comparing Spence to what's going on right now, to trying to make this fight. Nobody's comparing him to anything outside of that. They're not holding him accountable, except the supporters, Bud Crawford supporters. That's it. And you can be a supporter of a fighter. It's okay. You can be a supporter of the fighter. You can be a fan of the fighter. But if you are a fan of whatever fighter, whether it be Errol Spence or Bud Crawford, understand one thing. Don't sit up here and act like what you see is acceptable. This shit ain't motherfucking acceptable, dog. It's a disgrace to boxing, but this ain't the worst I've seen in boxing. But it's a disgrace that all of a sudden, we've been talking about this motherfucker for years upon years upon years, and you want to make the man take a net profit and say, no, it's no way that you're going to be able to verify the numbers. You just got to take the check that we give you. That check can be a clean million. Spence can be up here making 25 million. We just leveled off 25 million. He can come out of this 25 million plus whatever else he's locked in for. His team and Al Haymon, they're going to get their money regardless. But if he gets a net profit and he gets $1 million, is that worth it? Let's just say he collect the belts. Yeah, we already knew that. We'll be like, okay, we already knew he can beat Spence, but Spence, he's pretty much cashed out on the fight. He lost his belts. Now he's sitting pretty for a minute. What's next? Didn't I tell you all that when this all started, Spence wasn't leaving welterweight? I told you he wasn't leaving it, y'all. I told you all, you need to understand and educate yourselves a bit more, you know what I'm saying, with processing information. Sometimes the information gets distorted when it's a huge group of people, and then you got one person that's giving you the information. Some people seem to decline the one person that may be a valuable source. They rather listen to all these other individuals around here as if they're different sources, but yet they're saying the same thing. Who do you know started that? How can you prove who started saying and telling that next person and next and next, to the point where it gets all distorted? I told you all he wasn't leaving welterweight. They want to make sure he stays down there to try to get the belts back again, because that's where the money at. It's a title shot. Once Errol Spence is separated from his titles, His monetary value and appraisal as a fighter declines. It is significantly reduced. Real talk. Big Bunch and Boxing said again, like at New Media Today, U.S. Boxing said, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. Shout out May. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. Shout out. What's going on, King Mitch? I'm seeing you in a minute. Shout out to you, brother. Mikey, Sean, Danny, and Ugas all were in business with Heyman, though. Why would Crawford get that type of treatment? Business is business. We have to get out of the mindset of regurgitating the same information over and over again. Listen to what you just said. You gave me all these names, and they say all were in business with Al Heyman, though. So you saying since they were signed to the promotion, okay, let's talk about the promotion. They was all signed. We're talking about right here, right now. We're talking about Crawford being separated. We're talking about Crawford being independent agent. He's able to make decisions outside of an attachment with Top Rank Promotions. We tracking? So since we're tracking, we don't have to really go back into how all the criticism was coming down. Oh, he needed to relieve himself from Top Rank and everything. He did. Now he's at the front door. He's trying to negotiate one of the biggest fights. Now we're talking about who was in business. What's different with Crawford, though? He's trying to do business with Heyman, Mitch. What sense does that make? He's trying to do business with the same guy that you sit up here and said that's in business with him. Why does he have to look? Why does he have to sign a bogus ass contract to be in business with a man? Mikey Garcia didn't sign a bogus contract. He was paid pretty damn good. Him and Errol made over like $3 million, didn't he? Sean got paid well. Danny got paid well. Ugas. So it's proven that Al Heyman can do business, right? You can do business with him. But when you run into the damn boogeyman, the business model changed. The whole format is different because now they say, okay, we at the end of the road. You know what I'm saying? Boys to men, goddammit. We're at the end of the motherfucking road, and this is not going to be an easy fight. This fight has been on the horizon so long. The sun has set and risen, dust to dawn. Now we here, and he wanted to damn say, well, it's good that Eclipse came in today. They won't be able to see me leave the parking lot with all this paperwork. I got to go over here and try to figure this shit out. There's no way I'm going to be on board with Crawford getting anything. We're going to sit him in there stressed the fuck out. We're going to put every type of little fine little words to switch up the rhythm, switch up the language, that hold him accountable and lock him in. We're going to get with the best attorneys. How can we finesse this damn contract? You say they do business with Heyman, but why can't Crawford? Man, that's just hating ass shit, bro. Malachi say, man, I don't ever want to hear that brother, man. No more from these pro PBC Wakandas. I am not playing with these fools. The hypocrisies and double standards are real from these low IQ suckers. Damn. It take me back to the old school. You sucker, you jive turkey. It's crazy. Right when I heard Wakanda, I already knew what it was. Fake ass niggas, man. For any dumb motherfucker to get on here and try to defend that shit. It's a lot of channels that we can consider Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. And for somebody to explain who made Wakanda, it was just even worse, though. That's just like telling somebody, well, we got BET, but who actually was in charge of BET, though? Come on. You have to do better. You know what I'm saying? This shit is crazy insane, bro. How can you get two people that you see up here on my thumbnail? They're declining. They're declining to get this man work. They're declining to give him work, man. It's pathetic. get people talking about who did business with Al Heyman. Well, goddamn it, Crawford ain't with Top Rank no more. Why can't he get the business? Oh, they trying to give him the business, all right. Appreciate that comment, Coach. Don said, I still stand on it. Errol wanted to fight. Look, you can say Errol wants to fight. It's all good. If you feel Errol wants to fight, that's what you feel. Errol wants to fight. But like I told y'all before, when you're talking about Errol wants to fight, right? And you try to separate Errol from the responsibility of the mindset that's going on over there with Al Heyman, wanting to give him that profits, right? If he wouldn't have said 70-30, 80-20, we give him anything or whatever, he keep fucking around with us. If he wouldn't have said that, I wouldn't have thought he was in cahoots or collusion. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have considered him to. I wouldn't assume that he is a legitimate bona fide accomplice in this. He said it out of his own mouth. We keep talking. We give him 70-30, 80-20, or whatever we want to give him. He was right. Errol Spence was right, bro. Errol Spence was right. What he said was absolutely true. That was the plan all along. They was planning on giving this man anything. Timothy Smith, he doesn't even get talked about. I've spoken on him so many times, but then these Wakanda channels, they come up here with a new character as if Timothy Smith never said anything. Oh, that was just a hologram. That wasn't Timothy. That was just a hologram. It wasn't even real. It was like Coachella. Yeah, Chella. It wasn't even real. But it looked real. It was a camera. It wasn't even real, man. You ever looked at Wakanda? Do you actually think it was set up like that? Do you actually think all the fight scenes was the way it was? No. Okay, then. Now we're getting somewhere. Timothy really wasn't standing there talking. That was just all, man, that was just a hologram. It wasn't even there, man. Green screen effect. Look on YTC. You'll see it all the time. Green screens. Miss say, I've known from the beginning of this truth versus bullshit that PBC high ups didn't want to fight unless they could sign Crawford to a deal. But you just mentioned all the names that I continue to highlight. I highlight the fact that they didn't have to go through this experience. But you said they all did business with Heyman. And my biggest question is why isn't Bud allowed to do business, proper business, respectable business? Why isn't he? Why are you going to totally reconstruct the negotiation process when your last 4 opponents didn't have to do it? You don't want the fight. You don't want the fight, man. He doesn't want the fight. He doesn't want it, man. This shit is insane. All the bogus fake ass news. July 4th, September. The fight's gonna be all October, November. And I'm sitting up here telling people, no, this shit ain't true. I bet my sources sound real good right now, Blue. Right, Blue? Because you called him a lie without my source, having a chance to correct itself. But what he was trying to tell you is that the fight wasn't lucrative enough. And when I put the shit up there, people said, what do you mean it ain't lucrative enough? I mean, come on, it's the right time. It wasn't lucrative enough for the right people to invest in it. It wasn't lucrative enough because you have PBC wanting the entire share of everything. The entire share of everything. Both of these fighters, when it comes to numbers, if you are a channel who are still putting up pay-per-view numbers and act like Errol Spence is selling out AT&T, slap yourself. How many of y'all going to continue to put up these bogus ass pay-per-view numbers? Huh, Willie the Munchkin? Y'all don't know what the fuck you talking about. I already told you over there at AT&T, he ain't sold out the stadium. If you want to say he sold out the accountable ticket that was allotted for the fight, cool. But he ain't sold out AT&T. Then, furthermore, you always want to brag. Y'all always want to brag on Mikey Garcia and Texas population when it comes down to Latinos and blacks, Latinos has more of a larger presence than blacks. And like I said before, it was a larger Latino presence at that fight than blacks. So why are y'all sitting up here pretending just because Mikey Garcia didn't have belts, it was all Errol Spence? Oh, he did these numbers. No, Mikey Garcia did those numbers along with Errol Spence. Both of them participated, but I guarantee you was more Latino fans in there than black fight fans. I'll tell you that much. Because Latino fight fan will tell you to your face who they supporting. Hey, who you here for? Mikey. I'm here for Mikey. You don't ask me no question like I'm here for Mikey. Okay. That's all they say. That's all they have to say. They're here for Mikey. PBC is built on propaganda. All these sanctioning bodies allowing PBC to hold the belts hostage. Real talk, man. I picked Crawford to beat Lubin. Listen, Crawford shouldn't fight no Lubin. I like the hammer. He shouldn't fight him, though. Real talk. Who is Mel Charlo to dictate anything? That's not even a topic of a discussion. Who is Mel Charlo when he's sitting up here making all these whining excuses, man? Talking that slave talk. Sit down. Humble yourself. Take less money. Sound like a slave to me. The very same position that we always trying to advocate to stay away from. Nope. We always got to come back around when it's, especially when February is on the horizon. You know what? I was just joking. I didn't mean that shit. You know, all the brothers, we brothers, man. We should just stick together and break bread together. Just be a union of one. Yeah, right. Shout out to my guy, Shaw News, the Sauce Experience, aka Showtime Shaw on deck. What's good? Salute WCS in the chat. The brothers wasn't on cold. The brothers, man. The brothers wasn't and hasn't been on cold, man. We have two fighters under the same trainer, both unified. Neither one of them want to fight Terrence Crawford. One has a plethora of excuses, and the other one don't have shit to say at all, unless he's walking out the arena at a 90 miles per hour, talking about, hey, 70, 30, 80, 20. We give him anything we want to give him. He keep talking. I know people get mad. Like, they get mad when they'll hear somebody like myself come back. I come on. And I mention names. There's nothing wrong with mentioning names, man. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with mentioning names. It's not personal. But a lot of y'all channels are pushing the same narrative, and it's not believable. Y'all sitting up here trying to blame Crawford to basically try to execute or seal a deal that you wouldn't do yourself. If you go to the car and you know that vehicle isn't worth the price tag that's on it, are you going to try and negotiate higher? No, you're going to look at the price tag and say, this ain't right, man. This is an 89 Corolla, dog. And y'all got 20 bands on that motherfucker. Now, what's it? Oh, we changed out the whole engine. You know what I'm saying? We put new brake pads on that motherfucker. And the lining in there was coming down. We fixed that shit. We got Jesus to fix that on Pimp My Ride. Jesus fixed that shit up real nice. Threw another coat of paint on that with a clear. Man, that shit's banging, dog. We got to get our money back. We got to make money. That's almost like what they're trying to sell him a contract like an 88 Corolla. They say, hey, this is brand new. Now we in 2022, but the contract is in 88. We giving you an 88, 90 contract. You ain't gonna feel good about it when you split the ropes. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna feel good about it. That's the whole point. We want you to feel bad, disgusted, sick to your stomach. We want you to feel all of that shit. Because that's gonna benefit our fighter. What's going on, Bills? The net pay is 35% after everyone get paid. Listen to me, bro. Listen. Okay, I understand and respect what you said. I'm not sure why you're telling me the net pay is 35% after everyone else get paid, which leads me back to exactly what I just said. You said 35% after everyone else get paid. But the whole point of the grand finale of you saying that is what? You left out him seeing the numbers to make sure and verify he gets the numbers and get the money that he's due. That all sounds good. Net pay is 35% after everyone else get paid. Why? How is Crawford supposed to verify? The money that he's receiving is the money that was received. So he's supposed to just take what they give him a check. Hey, yeah, just a cool million right there. You still got paid, right? All right, buddy. Yeah. That's not the way it's supposed to go down, man. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing with this? Who cares if it's 35% after everyone else get paid? What are the numbers that we're extracting from? What are we extracting from the net pay? How do we validate that in a business setting? How is the model now distorted just because Terrence Crawford's name is attached to it? You didn't hear shit about motherfucking net pay with, once again, the lightweight Mikey, Showtime, Swift, and Udenas. You didn't hear shit about 35% is what everyone else, is after everyone else get paid. Man, come on, bro. You're laughing. I know you are. You know what I'm saying? You just wasted time. You can't get that time back. You type that. You can't get that back in your life, bro. Errol keep messing around. The mandatory is going to kick in, and he would be a high risk, low reward. If Boots, he would have a big task. Now I'm gonna tell you how Don. I'm gonna tell you how that's gonna work. First of all, he ain't fighting no Boots. He's not fighting no Boots. He'll get stripped of the title. It'll be Josh Taylor all over again. He's not fighting no Boots. Now, will he fight Stanthionis? Sure, he'll fight Stanthionis, but he's not fighting Boots. Because, let's call it for what it is. A young lion like Boots. Boots is only 23 years old with like 28, 29 fights. Dude is a young lion, bro. He would go in there and give Spence some physical issues. He's young, man. Crawford just had a birthday. Boots is on a mission. Now, one or two things can happen now. Boots understand that he's getting the opportunity of his life. Okay, stepping in there with Spence, and he might take it easy. He might play around with his food and carry him. Now, it's not going to be an easy fight because Spence can box. Don't get it twisted. Spence can box. But stylistically, stepping in there with somebody like Boots, with that style that Spence has, he's gonna look different and he's going to feel different after the fight. Him being Errol Spence. Real talk. It's going to be very tough. He ain't fighting Boots, though. He ain't fighting Boots. Guarantee that. Get a belt across the street. Fight somebody. Porter Brook. Take a low ball offer. Keep changing the goalposts and still no fight. Exactly. They want you to wear the whole suit. God damn it. Just leave out the shoes. You don't need no shoes with that shit, man. Walking there barefooted, dude. That's exactly how that contract looked, man. They want to dress you out real nice. And they said, nah, we don't need to damn put no shoes on, man. Fuck that. Don't put no lotion on your feet either. Because we really want you to look stupid. All right, we're gonna dress it up real nice from head all the way down to your ankles. But we're not gonna put no shoes on you because I want them to see them shackles. We want them people to see them shackles that we got on your ass. Yeah, so in order for them to get the full visual, when you get out the shower last, don't put any lotion on your shoe. We want that ashy look. We want that old movie look. You know what I'm saying? When you're out there in the dirt and your feet are dirty and crusty, and yeah, we want to give them that slave look. Yeah, because we just locked you in, dog. We want you to look like the Charlo's Freedom Belt. We would lock your hands up, but we don't want to offend nobody. We would chain your hands up. We don't want to offend nobody. We don't want people just protesting and shit. So we're just gonna do the ankles. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna bring the tailor. We're gonna have the seamstress tailor you all the way down, and so that cuff can sit right above them shackles. I want to dress you up real nice, shawty. Done. Spence will be gone before that happens. Boots would not be next. Boots will fight Cody Crowley. Spence will fight Stanthionis if anybody. Exactly. He's not stepping in there with no Boots Ennis, man. People will scratch their head like, You want him to go in there and get destroyed by Boots, but you didn't want Crawford, the older fighter, to go in there and fight him. How does that work exactly? Oh, you want to take the appraising value of Jaron Ennis and say, oh, we can afford him. You know, Ennis, he don't have no dumb team either now. They're going to come in there want a certain percentage. They're not going to hold him to no damn net and have people coming here. Well, to be honest with you, the net is 35% after everyone else get paid. Who is everyone else, first of all, and how much are they getting paid? Second of all, I ask you, first of all, what are the numbers? How do I validate the numbers of all these people and what they're getting paid after the fact? I need to know the numbers. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Nope. Them are diva demands. Diva demands. You ever heard of some shit? Those are diva demands, y'all. For someone to basically make sure the business is in order, it's business demands, because the YTC is one of those deep, dark conundrums. You know what I'm saying? Where you have people that just link up together and you say, hey, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, 16 dummies on deck. Put your hand in the air. Okay, everybody's in attendance. Good job. Serious. They all link up together, man. It's all good. They want to push the same narrative. Big Blunts and Boxing, your name says it all. You talking, you're not about that boxing life. You're aerosexual, clearly. What? No, bro. You tripping. Look, he a freaking aero fan, but god damn. Man, you talking to the right one. Hey, y'all gonna have to get on this panel and sell that. Shit. He ain't no aerosexual, bro. I give him that. He ain't no aerosexual, bro. You know what I'm saying? Bud gonna stop Spence. Now we enjoy having you here, but I'm on record saying I'm not an Arrow fan or a Bud fan. I think the fight is 50-50. I'm not picking sides, and I'm trying to understand both sides. See, that's what I was trying to tell you. Bud gonna stop Spence. That's what I was trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been keeping the same energy the whole time. He says it's a 50-50 fight. And I straight up said, I don't think it's a 50-50 fight. I don't. I think this is far from being a 50-50 fight. That's why they're making negotiations so difficult. Spence wouldn't want that boot smoke. Definitely not. At WCS can tell you that Bud gonna stop Spence. You know, I look, I'm gonna tell you, I'm on one side of the fence. That's what either any fight I face, I'm on one side. I'll never say, okay, I like both fighters. My heart is with Bud, but I think this person, nah. It's all on this side of the fence, man. I'm definitely a fan of the sport, but listen, I don't have to damn elaborate and go in depth about the percentage of how I support a fighter. It shouldn't have to be that way. If you really fuck with the sport, you're going to fuck with the fighters. You don't walk in a gym to do an interview with a fighter or a cover a fighter. And you say, hey, first of all, man, hey, hold up. Take a step back. 1 arm's distance, bro. Check this out, man. I'm World Combat Sports, right? And I run my thumb across my nose. Listen, bro. I'm not a fan of you fighters, bro. I'm a fan of the sport. So the question I'm going to ask you is going to be tough questions, okay? I just want to get that line of defense established before we even start. We good? Man, please, you probably get punched in the mouth, dog. Nah, he good. He good, bro. That's one thing. Blunts and Boxing, he's kept the same energy. He ain't an aerosexual, bro. Now, I know plenty of people call me a Bud this or Bud that. Listen, I support Bud Crawford heavy. I've not eaten broken bread, none of that shit over his house. I don't come up here and create false ass fake narratives about. I'll create a thumbnail now, and I'll give you I'll tell a story in my thumbnail. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell a story in my thumbnail. I don't believe this is a 50-50. That's why PBC moving the way they moving Bud. It's different. He drinks, eats, and sleep boxing. Talk to him, Don. Talk to him, bro. Elucidate. You know what I'm saying? Allow them to be entertained. because they can get in a funk over here in YTC and listening to these channels who spread fake ass narratives. And then now that the fight ain't happening, they got to come up with, well, let me try to talk for Bud Crawford one day. Let me try to talk for Errol Spence the next day, and then let me try to see what Bomac says, what Bomac is talking about, and let's see what Derrick James is talking about. And let me get back to Terrence Crawford. Back to Errol. No, man, fuck all that. Y'all was spreading fake ass news. You destroyed the fight. I don't give a fuck what's going on, but I'm not gonna agree with one side over the other when I don't know what's going on behind the doors. Now, if I was a part of Bud teams or Errol team, then that's different. True words, bro. And I don't sit up here and get mad at people that come in here and they're Errol Spence fan because this shit ain't personal. But what I do know is that the Spencerholics and the Queens of Spence, they get very emotional. The estrogen levels just boil over, dog. If you over here in his chat, unsubscribe to me. Unsubscribe, don't fuck with me if you fucking with this nigga right here, nigga. Them motherfuckers get upset, boy. If I see you over here, I mean, look, these cats will see you pop in their chat and you're supporting their channel. And they say, oh, we saw you over there. That's how petty this shit is, dog. You know what I'm saying? That's how petty this shit is, dog. For real. Don't pay no attention to it, though. Because it's grown men over this motherfucker. It's grown men in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Grown fucking men who make their own decision and pay their own bills, bro. Not these clowns that they had people supporting them. You know what I'm saying? They have people supporting them. They want the views. But just because they're over here supporting a small channel that has 10 people in it, you know what I'm saying? 10 people. Let's not go above 10, goddammit. They have 10 people in that motherfucker. And they're mad because, at the time, the 10 people is a name or a channel that they seen in their chat, and they're mad about it. And they're Queens of Spence. EJ been quiet since the low ball offer been exposed. Why you Arrow make the fight tweet something? Hey, because he can't. Arrow can't do anything. Did you hear what Letitia put out there? Did you see what Letitia put out there? She said it perfectly. You know what I'm saying? She said it perfectly, bro. They just scared. Arrow in the realization that Bud ain't playing. So now he's shook. He knows his stock would drop. Listen, Don, he knew for a while that Bud ain't playing. He knew that Bud ain't playing. But my only thing, how can we all make sense as a collective group, right? How can we make sense when we have our own responsibilities in life, right? How can we sit up here and check the box on what we are witnessing play out and have any type of saying, okay, Mike Coppinger, Max Kellerman came out, said what they said. That's fucked up, And we've been talking about this fight forever and a day, right? So now we understand it's a bogus ass deal. How as a collective group we can condone that shit? We can't condone this shit, bro. We can't condone, nor can I, speaking for myself, I can't condone the channels that go up here and create storylines and say the same shit over and over again. They don't believe it. Like a lot of them niggas, they want to be Bud fans, but they so weak-minded, they're stuck in a group of individuals that's pushing a narrative about Errol. So they too scared to jump out because they know they're going to get that backlash. Because they trying to make sense out of nonsense only make you look like a fool. Wakanda business is different from real business in the eyes of these Wakanda niggas. Damn, coach up here with the flamethrowers. God damn, dog. Look, coach up here fighting with loaded gloves today, man. He said, I'm not playing fair. I got shit in my gloves. Yeah, I'll pop you with a jab. The shit felt like a hook, didn't it? Okay, Wakanda, I'm trying to knock some sense into you. I'm trying to tell you, you fake it. And you thought I was going to come over here and play fair? No, nigga, my shit is loaded. My shit is loaded, dog. And I punched you when you was already down. Now what? We got to ask ourselves, do we have all the facts from both sides? And how can you be sure that the facts are what they appear to be? if Bud EJ never came out and said what it was from their own mouths. Okay, let me check this. Okay, Blunts and Boxes. So this is the way I look at it, right? I don't need to know all the details. I don't need to know all the facts. What we do know that's been talked about on mainstream media is that the fact that Max Kellerman and Mike Coppinger have had a short dialogue. That dialogue consisted of a little residue, you know what I'm saying, that's pertaining to this fight. And that residue was media worthy for them to talk about it live in front of millions. And pretty much they said that they trying to get Bud to do this, this, and this. And then Max said, well, that seems like ducking to me. Mike Coppinger didn't deny it. So now, look, before then, everybody's waiting on Mike Coppinger to drop some shit. He dropped some shit. They made 1,000 lives on it. Now, all of a sudden, he dropped this shit, and it doesn't favor Errol Spence. Fuck Mike Coppinger. He just on his last leg. He's on his way out the door. Fuck him. He ain't doing shit right. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. Yes, he is. Because how can you continue to discount the insiders? You say Rick Glaser line, you say Mike Coppinger line if it don't fit your favorite fighter. You know what I'm saying? You don't like Ioli. You don't like Idic. Who are we getting the information from? It's definitely ain't this YTC shit. There's some people on here legitimate got sources, but it's not respected enough when the news is broke. They don't want to respect and give you credit. But when you're on a mainstream in front of millions and Max Kellerman have a conversation with Coppinger, people run and talk about it, right? But then they want to turn around and act like the information means nothing to them. But yet they're doing like 10 lives on the shit. That's all we're talking about. The fight ain't happening. Why all of a sudden y'all say the fight not happening? Because we looked and we heard Max Kellerman and Mike Coppinger say it. So make up your fucking mind what you're going to be. You know what I'm saying? Make up your fucking mind. If Mike Coppinger is not going to be your source of relevance, or is he? Because you sure enough took that information and you did all these lives on it. The shit ain't happening. Just like I said, the shit ain't happening, bro. All this fake news about official announcement. Letitia said, if Errol Spence really wants to fight Terrence Crawford, he can make it happen because he's his own boss, right? The delusional people need to wake up and pay attention. Y'all need to wake up and pay attention, man. He said, never wanted to fight. W says you read it wrong. I said Errol never wanted to fight. My fault. I'm human. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I'm trying to catch up with the chat. You gotta be respectful for the chat. So that's why I'm just posting some of the comments. Hey, shout out to Don Vaughn, $5 super chat, man. Appreciate you. Said W says you read it wrong. I said Errol never wanted to fight. For sure, I got you, Don. Hey, I wasn't holding you to the cross or anything, bro. My mistake, man. Stand corrected. Stand corrected, bro. Heels together, fingers, thumbs on the trouser saying, you know what I'm saying? Head now straight to the front. Aye, sir. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for the super chat, man. Real talk. Outlaw Pugils on deck. LL, old boy, finally, everyone realized the Errol's a duck. Man, it's funny how you talk about that animal with wings, right? And people act like it can't happen in boxing. Yeah, it can, bro. It can. It happens all the time, man. You know, especially in big fights like this. How can we have all these unifications, but yet we can't get this one? We can't get this one, and there's $100 million offer on the table for Canelo Alvarez to fight Charlo and goddamn Errol Spence. Errol Spence would have had his chalk outline his body. That would have been a homicide, dog. He would have had to move up from 47 to 68, and you still got these idiots talking about, well, he walk around at 180. That's because he was goddamn undisciplined. That wasn't his fighting weight. He would have got murdered, canceled, if he would have moved from 47 to 68. Canelo's not going to drop to no catch weight. This ain't Conor Ben and Eubanks Jr. The fuck you talking about? I'm ready to see Spence versus Boots and Crawford versus Ortiz. Spence versus Crawford are holding up the division at this point. Let them young guns get their shot. I have no problem with that. I would definitely like to see Ortiz fight, Crawford, if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? I'd definitely like to see that fight. Ortiz said he want the big names. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. I wouldn't mind seeing Boots go over there and step on Spence. Absolutely. I like to see that. No pun intended. I'd like to see the young lions that's sitting in the chute, cage door open, get their shot. But it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen, y'all. The old guard is about to relocate. I told y'all, the old guard is on their way out, man. Terrence Crawford is calling out 54 because he wants to solidify another division to his legacy. Dude, it seems like Errol Spence has a sense of urgency to go up to 54. No, it doesn't seem that way, bro. Boots ain't ready for Spence. When the most rounds Boots was from 140, Sergey Lipinets, Spence gonna fight Stanthionis, then slide out most likely. I agree with the back end of that. Spence is gonna slide out to Stanthionis, but he definitely ain't stepping in there with Boots. And like I said before, that ain't gonna be no easy fight for Boots because Errol Spence is not Sergey Lipinets. He's not. So we can only assume that talent versus talent, IQ to IQ. Yeah, that's gonna be a very competitive fight. You know what I'm saying? But I have Boots winning that fight. I do. I have Boots winning that fight. That was a good point by Coach. You know what I'm saying? If I was Bud, I would took 60-40 when it was offered and then fought in Dallas. Not saying it should be 50-50 and neutral. They counted with low offer since he rejected the fight. I wouldn't suggest my fighter do that. I mean, it's just too much going on over there in Texas for it to be fair. Look, the one area of confidence that I have, if Bud Crawford taking that fight in Texas, he knocks Spence out. But, I hold myself accountable. I can't just sit up here and say, okay, he's just going to go in there and get a knockout. I do believe he'll stop Spence. But in Texas, it's a lot more that goes on. You in somebody else's backyard. Why? Why do we have to go in the backyard of Spence to get the fight? Why? For real, why, man? You know what I'm saying? Why does he have to go through that? That's all I'm saying. Why? I got to say, Fernandez on record saying Bud should not accept that bullshit and walk away. But if he's not trying to walk away, then don't ask for approval of expenses. Why would he be trying to walk away is my question. Like, you know what? All I can say is when he's requesting, if Al is the one that's handling the numbers and he's requesting, validation of that, why should he be walking away? You know what I'm saying? Why should he be walking away from anything? He shouldn't have to be walking away from nothing. Why would this even be a topic of discussion, him walking away? Hey, you know what they're going to say, Big Blunt, see you walk away? Oh, he was scared. He didn't even give it a chance for negotiation to play out. He walked away. He ducked. You know what I'm saying? No, don't walk away. This is a big fight. But why stay if the numbers are minuscule, like it's crumbs? Why stay there? Buckle Up Boxing, what's good? This is why I told Bud on Twitter page about a year ago to never sign with PBC. I knew this shit would happen. Hey, you was a thinking man. You was a thinking man for him not to sign with PBC. Man, they would have locked that man on the back end of his career. He would have been shaking his head, bro. You know how free-flowing Bud and his team move? You know what I'm saying? They ain't walking around here with frowns. That's because they did good business. They was able to get the high guarantees when they was locked in with Top Rank. But all of a sudden, he's just supposed to have a release. I'm dropping everything. I'm dropping my common sense. I'm dropping my intelligence. I'm going in there empty-headed. Yeah, I'm going in there with air space. That's all. I'm not going in there with no intentions or anything. I'm just going to go make myself look stupid and sign my life away on the back end of my career. And then you get home, your family asking you, hey, is it true that what they talk? Yeah, I signed a 3-fight deal. Out of the 3 fights, I'm probably going to be getting a cool $2 million. But after that 3rd fight, man, I'm retiring. You taking 3 fights for $2 million? Come on, bro. For not saying all Bud needs to do is set a limit on the cost of operations. Bro, how can he set a limit on anything and they not listening to the man? That's easy when you're just talking shit that's supposed to happen. This ain't buying a house, man. This ain't buying a house, bro. We're not negotiating a buyer-seller type of agreement. Okay? This is not real estate. This is boxing. This is a non-regulated sport, bro. If Bud is trying to set certain demands in place and he cannot get any type of traction, he can't get them to respect him on it, on what he's asking, on his demands. He can't get any of that. What does cost of operations have to do with anything? Don't cost of operations have to be approved? You know what I'm saying? Don't they? Serious. How's he going to set a limit on cost of operations? And they don't even want the man to check the books. How are they going to turn around and say, oh, yeah, we'll give you that? No, they're trying to send that man in there empty. All in for the young guys getting a shot, but Ortiz Golden Boy has been full of shit as it pertains to putting Virgil in the ring for a belt. They didn't want that shit. They were ahead of Porter. Man, I like Virgil Ortiz. He's going to get his shot, though. Did you know Floyd told Manny to come to the PBC and he would rematch Manny? You see, that never happened either. Good info, man. Way to bring the diamonds up to the surface so you can see them motherfuckers shine. You know what I'm saying? They don't have no blood on them either. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get the diamonds without the blood, without people sacrificing. That's what they want Crawford to do. They want him to go up here and try to get these diamonds, and he's bleeding. He's losing blood and shit. You know what I'm saying? They want him to go in there and look like he been scratching and clawing. They want him to go in there with lacerations, bruises, motherfucking sores coming out. Do you agree to my only? You say the net, right? I just need to see the books. No, beat him. Psh, 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 psh. Man, we're not trying to go through this shit, bro. We're not trying to turn this into a motherfucking Wakanda movie. We're not trying to have somebody walk up there with diamonds in their hand, then they die 2 minutes later. I have to die. Motherfucker died with the diamonds in his palm. This is all I wanted. He dead now. He out the movie. Shamika, what's good? Yes, Spence will drop the belt or be stripped before he fights Boots. Yes. I agree with that. He ain't stepping in there with Boots, man. It's too dangerous. Crawford is too goddamn dangerous. But Boots is, on the first phase of his career. Line is 23, man. Dude has a huge landscape. The old guard, they trying to get paid on the back end, and they want to just send them out there with no severance package. You know what I'm saying? They just want to send them out with no severance package, bro. We don't give a damn what you did in your career. We want to give you $2 million for 3 fights. At least you're getting paid something. Invest it. You know what I'm saying? Invest it. You can flip that. If you're smart, you can flip that shit. Invest that $2 million. Turn it into $4 million. Turn 4 into 8. 8 into 16. I'm serious, bro. Money, what's good? Man, Spencer's a man does a lot of cap and the twins soft. Damn. They saying the twins are soft, man. I'm not gonna call the twins soft. I just think they do a lot of shit. That's I don't know, man. They do a lot of shit like people with gold spoons and silk sheets. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they ain't earned it, but they do a lot of you know what I'm saying? What's the word I'm looking for, man? Not diva, but no, they just act like they're entitled, and you know what I'm saying? Like they was raised that way. That's the way they've been their whole life. No, that's not the case, bro. This shit is dumb. You know what I'm saying? We got two fighters, two elite fighters, y'all. Two elite fighters that don't want to fight Bud. That's crazy. Yes, sir, man. TJ on deck. What's good? Say Boogeyman Bud got them spooked, man. Yes, sir. You already know. You already know, man. He said Bud is on a mission. Bud is on a mission, but for the mission to be accomplished, we need people to come to their right senses, man. We need those individuals to understand the magnitude of this fight. You know what I'm saying? The barometer of it. It's been waiting around forever ever in a day, right? It's been cool. Now it's just starting to boil over and erupt just like a volcano. And people want to see this motherfucker in action. Can't happen. You know what I'm saying? Can't happen because they know damn well Spence is gonna lose those belts, and then that AT&T shit and all that, they're gonna lose out. They trying to hold on to them titles, man. They trying to hold on for dear life. They trying to hold on for dear life. Seriously. Spence is scared of boots, and Crawford is taking so long, man. It's damn depressing, bro. D-Ray, what's good? D Young, what's good with it? I don't understand what people say is Bud fault when clearly we can see all the hurdles. Now we're talking about goddamn hurdles. That's what I'm talking about. Bud's been jumping hurdles, man. 110 high hurdles, 120. Man, he been jumping hurdles the entire time. And look, just when you think he's about to cross the finish line, they say, nope, run him in reverse now. So you want me to turn around and run forward? No, I want you to run backwards and jump the hurdles in reverse. From the last hurdle to the first hurdle. But that's going to cause a lot of damage. That's going to get injured. I'm trying to go in there and step on Spence. I know. That's what we want you to do. Get injured. We want you to not be healthy for the fight, both mentally and physically. I'm telling you, bro, they don't want that motherfucking fight, dog. The boogeyman is here. The boogeyman is there, dog. They don't want this motherfucker to get in the ring, dog. They don't want to see Crawford in the ring versus any one of these fighters, man. Real talk. 154-pound division, 147-pound division, both unified channels, and neither one of them want to fight the boogeyman. None of them. They don't want to fight the boogeyman. They don't want to do it. The fight will happen. I think we just got to let both teams work it out. I'm sure it's an ongoing thing. Look, big Bloods, man, the more and more you start to tighten down. Big Bloods, speaking like he's the commissioner and shit. Hey, just calm down. Everything is going to work itself out. Okay, we're going to get to it, okay? Chill, relax. Okay? Let me figure everything out. But we definitely going to see the fight. But see, people have heard that already, Blunts and Boxing. And you're right. We're going to see the fight probably, 2 years from now. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? We might see the fight 2 years from now, Blunts. Man, unless you have a different, unless you have a different timeline that we can talk about, you have something. Well, unfortunately, brother, the fight ain't happening this year. It's a letdown. Man, this shit is incredibly disappointing. Real talk. It's disappointing. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's disappointing, man. It's disappointing. I'm trying to catch up on these chats, man. It's disappointing. Tony said, what happened to being a boxing fan these days? Folks act like these fighters is paying their bills, come around Christmas time, send cards, and show up to the family reunion, shaking my head, folks in their feelings. Hey, if you get invited, you feel me? Like, if you get invited, yeah, show up. You know what I'm saying? If you get invited. But understanding this right here, though. This is exactly what they're trying to do, people. They're trying to have both of these fighters, PBC, they're trying to have both of these fighters look just like this, man. Real talk. They trying to have both of these fighters look like this. They want these fighters to come in here and do an exhibition bout, man. Real talk. That's the way they want to look. Seriously, they want to look like that. Coming in at 55 years old. No, come on, bro. Stop. This shit is insane, bro. We're going to see the fight. 2024, something like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? We get sprinkles here and there from sources. We good, but stop, Spence. We good, bro. You know, straight. Hey, we could agree to disagree over here. I'm not gonna feel no type of way. As long as it's boxing topic related, it's all good, man. We ain't gonna goddamn be putting on mute and kicked out, timed out, and shit. People need to be reminded Bud is built different. He grew up street fighting at the core. He is a face-to-face guy. I totally agree with that. And also, you know, when I try to explain to people, you know, all the other activities sport-wise that Bud participated in, how strong he is as an athlete, they just keep on looking at him as a 135-pound fighter or something. I don't know. You know, and then I'm listening to these guys say Spence is going to be, the longer the fight, you know, carries forward, Spence is going to be the way bigger fighter in there. I'm like, damn, dog, do y'all not watch heavyweight? Have you not seen big fighters go in there and get demolished? Why are y'all busy up here thinking this is going to be a size thing when it goes up, you know, Spence going in there and y'all thinking Crawford, you know, who has 6 straight stoppages at welterweight, he's going to go in there and have problems with a bigger fighter. Y'all acting like this man is incredibly huge, dog. What are y'all doing, man? Why do that to yourself? So if Bud don't fight Spence in Texas, they saying he gonna have to Virgil in Texas. But I guess it don't mean as much because Bud would probably beat Virgil in Texas. And see, that's the whole point. You made a good point. That's the whole point. Levels. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, the barometer of Crawford Spence is different than Crawford hit Virgil. It's different. Totally different fight, man. We're talking about for undisputed Vice defense of his WBO title. Nobody's really expecting Crawford to go in there and lose against Virgil because, you know, he's still trying to build up his Wall Street in boxing. He hasn't been able to do that yet. So he's still trying to, you know, get the first chip at 47 before he move up to 54. Virgil's not going to be at 47 too much longer. Jerron Ennis not going to be at 47 much longer. Too big. It's too big, man. And then I say that, and I see Sebastian Fundora making 154 when this goddamn tower in front of ass should be burning down some competition at like 175 or something. You know what I'm saying? But he know they hit hard up there. Jermaine, what's good? Yeah, he said brothers. You know what I'm saying? I just had to make a note of that. He said we brothers. That's per the damn article on Boxing Scene, bro. For not only purposes to sound smart to the Spence groupies so that they in turn can feel smart because they agree with whatever he says. Hey, I don't have no problem with Fanon over there, you know. Like especially him, you know, saying what he's saying. He's just expressing himself. It's not personal to me, like I said. It's just I don't consider it to be a diva type of behavior. If he's really trying to demand seeing the books and seeing the numbers to make sure he's made whole correctly. You know what I'm saying? You don't want bits and pieces and come to find out you left a lot of money on the table. Man, come on, man. Like, why are we even talking about this, dog? Like, people just doing this because they don't like Crawford, bro. Al Heyman is Arrow manager. It's not his job to secure the severance check for Bud. Bud got to get Daniel Cunningham to negotiate for him. Oh man, y'all trying to put my boy Daniel, dog. How do y'all actually know he's with Daniel though? And that's hearsay. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if he's with Canahan. You know, Canahan, where is he? We haven't heard anything from the man. So if you know the feds are watching, why would Bud be making phone calls and trying to find out and negotiate? No, I don't even hold any merit to that. Why would he do that? He's not gonna do that. He's not gonna put himself in that position, y'all. But it's not. Why y'all keep putting him with Daniel Canahan, man? Because it sounds good and you hear it on YTC. That man has a bounty on his head, bro. You think his phone's not tapped? What? I'm praying for Bud, though, man. I really hope he and his manager ain't talking him out of no bag. It can be hard for them to compete with someone that has a Harvard degree and been making the biggest pay-per-views. So Bob Arum, he was an attorney, right? Okay. So we're talking about a guy who survived the Don King era, right? 2 triple OGs in the game, right? So we really want to talk about Harvard with a guy who's still trying to establish himself, legitimize himself in the sport of boxing. Harvard, the top 3% of graduates, doesn't have anything to do with it. He started off in the business aspect, but boxing has a lot of individuals, you know what I'm saying, that pretty much can handle certain positions in the business model of boxing. I mean, we got plenty of people out here that can do that. You know how many promoters we have in boxing from the higher tier, mid tier, and lower tier? Plenty. There's plenty promoters, bro. Plenty. Heyman is still growing in the sport. We don't know how long he's going to be around. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how long he's going to be around, bro. I think both fighters want this fight, and I think the fight happens in spring of 23, not the February shit people talking about. Hey, man, I can't sit up here. Talk. Hey, Blood, man, hey, the only way I can agree with you on that shit, man, I have to be smoking one myself, dog, and I don't smoke, man. I have to goddamn, get that 30-35% THC. You know what I'm saying? Then I'd be agreeing with that shit. I'm like, yeah, for sure. Next year, you're right. Spring, yeah. Andrew Charles, bro, I witnessed it on several occasions this week. If I had the Bud fans agreeing with him too. It's not boxing he's talking, it's business and contracts. That's profession. Listen, I'm gonna break some shit down to you, Blunts and Boxing, right? And you can take it for whatever you were, whatever it's worth, right, brother? All respect, right? But I have a college degree in certain subjects, right? So let's just say me and the way I process information, listening, the information, the mass communication process, it comes in all shapes and forms, right? So if I'm listening to Fanon, I'm gonna take the bits and pieces of what he's talking about if it's relevant to boxing. And then the bits that I'm taking that's relevant to boxing, I'm only gonna be able to sponge up enough if I'm educated on those bits and pieces, right? Let's just say he's educating me on something that I never heard before, but I might have familiarity with it and I can put it together, right? So I take the bits and pieces and I say, okay, that sounds good and everything like that. All right. I didn't know that. Okay, that sounds good. I take it and then I start to put it together and start doing my own research, right? But always remembering where I got the source from. All right. Fanon does not do business with boxing. There's no knock on him. But my entire process when I start listening to him was to learn something that I may not have known that may be a contributor to the sport, the business aspect of it. Okay. But always taking into consideration, he's speaking from a point of an attorney, but he's never been an attorney for a fighter. He's never been an attorney in the sport of boxing. So the paperwork and the templates that he's used to speaking on or whatever line of business he's working on, I would need for him to have a history in speaking about handling business or legal documentation with fighters. That's all. I'm not saying I can't get educated by the man. I'm just saying I'm taking information. I need to know what the source. What is the history of the source? Has he dealt with boxers? Has he dealt with managers? Has he dealt with any type of team that's related to boxing business? If that answer is no, then I'm just gonna take the bits and pieces that I want and then do my own research. And I'm gonna try to mesh that shit together to make it stick. Because some shit in business, it is lineal. You know, you can't say, okay, this can go across the board. Okay, I understand what you're talking about. But we're talking about boxing, though. We're talking about boxing. There's a whole lot of fine details that has to go into play when it comes to boxing, when setting up these fights. Are we going to set some up for royalties? I mean, it's just so deep. Like I said, I'm not educated enough to speak on it. But I'm just not the one to nod my head and then, say, yeah, like a bobblehead. I'll listen and then I'll collect the information. Then I go do my own research on it, always remembering where I got the information from. Now, if it's a person who's been an attorney for boxers, you know what I'm saying? And they've dealt with boxing business. They dealt with, and it's all according to what level they dealt with. That shit, look, an attorney will get all upset and tell you, oh, man, it's all the same. It's not. Language, when it's on paper, can look the same. But it starts to become a bit different when you read it. If you just look at a contract and you say, oh, man, I like that bold print right there. I like that, black print on white paper. Oh, I like that. It all looks the same. But when you actually start to read the language that's in there, these contracts are not the same. The template may look the same, but the contract, the wording, they're not the same. So that's my only deal with that, man. Like, yeah, you can be an attorney and I respect it. You know what I'm saying? No knock on for none once again, bro. I ain't dogging you, bro. I'm not dogging you. But it's no history that you have with doing business with boxers from the start to the finish. No boxers are coming to Fanon to basically review their contract for language. Now, I'm not saying he's not educated or does he have the business sense not to pick out certain languages that's non-beneficial to his client. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I would like for him to be more involved in the sport of boxing, to speak on it in depth to the point where I'm going to be nodding my head and say, all right, that's some good shit. Okay, cool. All right, cool. All right. He's worked with so-and-so, so he knows. Okay, he worked with that. He worked with this, that. That's all. That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, I just don't nod my head to people who, may have the education for something, but yet they haven't really worked inside of the business model or working with clients that are boxers. Because boxing, man, it just has so many branches to it, bro. Like I always say, man, that shit bears fruit from branches you didn't even know existed. Everybody's eating off boxing. I'm looking for more from Charlo, though. I can't front. I doubt Triple G gives him a chance to unify 160. Maybe PBC believes in what Triple G generates physically and throw a bag. I can't even talk about it right now. Because Charlo, I don't know what the fuck he got going on right now, dog. You know what I'm saying? Andrew Charles said that's a fact. He spoke to people in Arrow's camp. He spoke to people in Bud camp. He's seen Bob Arum contracts. He knows lawyers in business. I don't think Fanon is wrong, bro. Okay, so now he spoke to people in both camps. So once again, respect to what you're saying, but speaking to somebody in both camps, what does that mean exactly? Are you speaking to their attorneys? No. Attorneys ain't gonna speak to attorneys. People in the camp are not gonna give business out for it to be spoken on the YTC. So the fine details are still quite are very quiet. All right. That's for me. I have to respond the best way I know how. That's all. It's no knock on anything, but I'm not gonna play the fool as if I don't really understand how to break certain things down. So once again, if he has the education and he's dealt with the business aspect of attorneys and legality, I get it. But those individuals that's internal to these camps are not distributing information out to him. He's not on the payroll. if that is indeed the case. He's not on the payroll. Those individuals have attorneys. So why would the team breach that confidentiality and speak to him? That's number one for me. That's number one for me. Okay, Bob Arum contracts. Listen, it's been contracts here and there that you can take a peek at. I've been here on YouTube long enough to know when people always want to throw contracts around. But once again, I look at it like this. Do you have every contract? I'm talking about if you want to talk on boxers, you want to speak on boxers and what's going on, do you have current updated information? Do you? If you cannot present documentations that is current and updated, then I'm not going to sit up here and once again, nod my head and shake my head. Nod, yep. I understand the experience, but that's just not the way boxing works, blunts and boxing. You can talk to the people camp all day, but they have hired attorneys to do their business. If they want to breach the confidentiality and just speak to other people on the exterior aspect of media, what's the point of hiring an attorney if you're going to just disseminate what you have going on from both camps? I don't believe that wholeheartedly. That's just me. I don't believe that shit. I'm speaking to both teams and they want to tell me certain things is going on. They're not going to tell me anything, especially Team Crawford, especially Team Spence. They're not going to sit up here and allow you to indulge with a whole list of bullet points on what they have going on. Okay, contracts. I've seen those same Bob Arum contracts out there. It's not many. But do we know all the crumbs? Do we know line for line the documentation of those contracts that you're saying over there top rank? Man, it's no way, bro. It's no way. It's just so much going on in these contracts, man. Money and power. Al from PBC is a smoke. He does not want Crawford to win because he not with PBC. Open your eyes. Fact. He want the man to sign. You know what I'm saying? He want the man to sign with PBC, bro. He want to lock him into a multi-fight deal. Come on, bro. He said, I say it's no way we was getting Wilder October. But Spence November, Tank Ryan December, not in a lifetime. Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, we getting a fight this week. We getting Wilder Helenius. We getting Wilder Helenius. That's a heavy, they got a heavy card over there in Brooklyn. For real. So now all of a sudden, Al a snake. Oh, he said Al a snake. Damn, I skimmed right over that. I'm not saying he's a snake. No doubt about it. I don't know the man like that to know he's a snake. But, from the outside, it looks bad on him because he's trying to just lowball the shit out of Crawford. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to lowball the shit out of him. He says, so now all of a sudden, Al a snake, been doing business all these years and suddenly he's a snake. LOY, everybody always thinking Al Heyman, if he a snake. For one, for what I hear, they have to thank him. It's contractually written. You know what I'm saying? They have to thank him. Two, we all know this. It's a lot of businessmen who are snakes. You know what I'm saying? They know how to slither their way through certain aspects of business to make more money on top of money. And that means slithering over people to get to that destination. That's just the way it is, man. These businessmen are not saints, though. They're smart. These dudes are smart. They know the loopholes. They have people around them to help them with the loopholes. Real talk. They have individuals on the team to help them, bro. They have to be some type of snake. Real talk. They have to be some type of snake. Suits don't believe and appreciate how big this fight is for people. Man, it must not be lucrative. Like the OG said, it must not be lucrative at all. You know what I'm saying? Hill, what's good? It said chill WCS. The fight is going to happen when Showtime PBC get their tax returns. Hey, man. I don't even think a tax return can get them to make this fight, bro. I'm telling you. Look, I can see them making a fight with a rematch in it, a bilateral rematch. Okay, I'm good with that. But all this, no rematch clause and no guarantee money, get the net, and people say, well, it's 35% after everyone gets paid. Why? Why not guarantee money? Why not get the guarantee money, get some on the back end, split that shit up, and everybody eat? Why all the nonsense, man? That's all I'm saying. Why is all the nonsense going down for Crawford? Why is he being treated fairly? It's up to the fans to support Spence and Crawford. Maybe Seuss will respect them the second time around and pay them accordingly. Man, stop it. They ain't gonna respect shit we got to say. They ain't gonna respect that, bro. It's not that Bud wants to see the numbers. It's that Bud wants approval of expenses. Al PBC should not have to call Bud to approve every little thing they do. Well, it's the every little thing, Blunts and Boxing. Well, it's the every little thing, because that every little thing may mean a lot in the scheme of things. What is every little thing? See, this is when, I ask the questions, bro. Real talk. I got to ask the question because I surf these. Look, some of the language you're using, I know who you've been listening to. I get it, bro. And look, I get it, man. I respect it too, because I know you're an intelligent human being and you listen. That's one thing I can say. You listen. But when I hear certain things like that, once again, I have to take them. I have to take the information, catalog it, and then I have to do my own research on it. If I'm slightly educated or fully educated on what I'm listening to, then it becomes a bit easier for me to receive it or reject it. Why in doing business, we are making excuses for certain areas that should be disregarded? You want to put Al Heyman in a position of why he have to do this, why he have to do that. Why are you saying that for Bud Crawford? You're saying Al Heyman's in such a hierarchy, but yet Bud is just a peon. So you want Bud on the backside of his career. You're not realizing what position he's in, and he should be asking these questions, even if they're small. He should be asking the questions, man. What is this talking about? And Bud wants approval of expenses. Why not? PBC should not have to call, but why? Why shouldn't they? It's a business, bro. It's business, and I understand. I'm listening to you, bro. I surf these damn channels too, bro. I hit the replay just like you. I ain't trying to put nobody on blast, but I that's one thing I don't do. Just because somebody has experience in one field and they want to talk and they sound good, I just don't sit up here and digest that shit like it's nutrition every time I hear them talk. Because my whole thing is, I didn't do 20 years in the military for nothing. Just being a person that's just impulsive, and I hear the first thing and then run with it. Now I had to do research upon research. You have people that's in charge, that you're in charge of, and you had to make sure that the example you set trickles down on the people. You make sure they're taken care of. With this, y'all are putting Al Heyman at the highest point, and anything he can do, the person on the other side, like Boyd, is a subordinate. You can be a subordinate. You can be in position of subordinate because you're not making the final calls and checking all the blocks. But that doesn't mean you have to play stupid and dumb. If you're a subordinate and you're not in a position to make those decisions, ask questions. Why not? What's wrong with that, man? What's wrong with that? I'm not cutting the check. If I'm not cutting the check, but I'm trying to get the check. So you trying to tell me I shouldn't ask questions? Because I want to make sure the numbers that I'm receiving in the check is fair to me and my team. And especially the people I support that's at home depending on me, bro. Man, y'all can't listen to everybody. You can't listen to me as if everything is scripture. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm trying to get across. I'm just saying, common sense wise, to me, I'm a listen, catalog, and I'm a research. Not just research shit online. I'm gonna call some other people that's actually legal representation for boxers. And I'm gonna run that shit through them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna run that shit through them. That's all. Because every contract ain't the same, man. You ain't writing shit on a bubblegum wrapper. Do you agree to fight? Yes, with a square up underneath it. No, with a square up underneath it. That's not the way contracts are given. Check either box. No, bro. D-Ray, what's good? This is why the UFC isn't winning. Boxing needs to get together. Facts. Hey, man. Boxing will never be on the scale of the UFC. Now, a whole lot of people sit up here and say, well, the fighters over there don't get paid that much. All I'm saying is they have a president. That's all I'm saying. I'm not, hey, at Blunts, I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong. All I'm saying is when you're speaking of information being sourced from camps, man, they don't give out information like that. They will give you a certain portion if they cool with you, but it's nothing close to what's going on behind closed doors at negotiation table. It's nothing even close. You know what I'm saying? And if Bob Arum has contracts that's out here for public viewing, I'm pretty sure a lot of people seen those same contracts. Not every contract is out here that he's did, but I've seen a couple, 3 or 4 from certain people who put that shit out there. Once again, we cannot act like that Top Rank is negotiating every fight the same. That's not true. Since Crawford 38-0, 29 knockouts will earn a percentage of the net revenue, he wants the ability to approve expenses. Sources said Crawford is a promotional free agent after parting ways. So once again, let me respond to that. Okay. Wouldn't you, Blunts and Boxing, wants approval of expenses if you're getting paid after everybody else get paid, brother? Wouldn't you want to see how the money is being disseminated? What are they paying for? If you are getting paid after everybody else, it's not the gross we're talking about, it's the net. So don't that sound sensible that he wants to approve expenses? Because why? If they're paying for shit that doesn't make sense and not conducive to him and getting his check on the back end. I think it's very, very smart and intelligent of him to do that. Real talk. I think it's very, very smart, especially being business savvy enough for his legal team to get with his legal team and say, I want approval of expenses. Yes, don't have shit to do with Al Heyman. Al Heyman can have a promotion in the network and be the manager. We all know he the front, he just have front man over there. But when it boils down to it, what's wrong if this man is getting the net? You can't say, oh, he's getting the net after everyone else getting paid, but yet you don't want to respect the fact that he's identified. If I'm going to get the shit all the way at the end, I want to see what y'all buying. I want to see where the money's going, because that money might be wasted on something that benefits y'all. I told you, these guys who they call snakes, they're that way for a reason, because they know the loopholes. So you think they can't put money somewhere else and then say, okay, this money went here, 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 and this is what's left over? No, bro. Terrence Crawford is doing exactly right. People do it all the time. I want to get approval. I want you all to come to me so I can prove what we paying money. Perfect example. I forgot his name. The Florida senator. All right, as I was reading about the hurricane relief down there in Florida, the senator basically said he's not going to approve the hurricane relief bill so it can help people recover and get back on their feet if it's going to be money in there of collateral expenses that has absolutely nothing to do with the hurricane. You know what I'm saying? If it's certain things in there relief and money that's going to be going to certain other entities that has absolutely nothing to do with the hurricane. I think it's smart for Crawford to be, hey, there go the link for anybody that want to look at that. I'll check it out after. I'm still trying to catch up on these chats. OG, I'm not gonna lie. The shit for non-explained, we learned it in business management class in high school. I'm not saying you didn't. Hear me out, brother. All business is not conducted the same, man. All business is not conducted the same. I had to take it in college. All business is not conducted the same, man. That's all I'm trying to tell you. You can talk about the language all day long, but if you think it's that easy, it will be more attorneys out here making mad money. It's a reason why the bar exam is incredibly difficult. It's a reason for that. Because if everything, when it comes to legal binding paperwork and putting language together and all that, wording it, if everything was just off what they taught us, like you said in business in high school and all that, that was just about to say that across the board, business is somewhat transparent. All the dang contracts are somewhat similar and transparent in nature. All you have to do is just have a little bit of freaking savviness about it, education, and you'd be just fine. No, that's not the case. The bar is not as easy to get into. Like I said, I'm speaking from an uneducated point as far as basic completing something like that, the bar exam and everything else. But what I can tell you, I know every business is not the same. It's not the same, man. Oh, it's all good. We agree to disagree, man. Real talk, man. You know what I'm saying? My tone ain't gonna change on anything. When speaking about something that I can pretty much give you a common sense overview. Common sense tell me all the business is not the same, especially in boxing. So it's not too much, oxygen I'm gonna use. I'm not gonna lose my breath, right? I'm not gonna run out of gas trying to fight to be right in this, because it's only a certain depth that I can go in this conversation. But where I'm at right now, I can tell you from the surface that every business ain't the same. And then also I can go a little bit deeper to say, from your standpoint, that these teams are not dispersing information to someone that doesn't hold, or someone that is freaking hired on by these teams as a legal representative. That's why they have attorneys to handle all that. They have confidentiality. You know what I'm saying? That's why in boxing, these fighters don't release information. It's always a secret. They don't tell you when the fight's going to happen until the fight has already been announced. They don't do it. They don't sit up here and say, hey, when your next fight? Oh, I can't release that right now. Come on, bro. That's boxing. All the time, all day, every day, bro. Big Buns, I have some real receipts dropping about the boxing contracts from someone that actually does business in the sport of boxing. And I'm not talking about allegedly. Hey. Yeah, that's fire. Let me say, yeah, coach. I saw that yesterday. Can't wait to see you drop that heat. That's all I'm saying, man. Like, I'm gonna be tuned into that too. Once again, from my educational standpoint, I can listen and learn, and catalog information and then take forward it, especially if the source, once again, coach is saying that he has a who actually does business. And that goes to my point about what you were saying about Fanon. Does he actually does business in the sport of boxing? That's all I was saying. I'm gonna sit different. I'm gonna listen different. You know what I'm saying? My behavior is gonna be different when I'm listening to somebody who actually does business in the sport of boxing. Vice the person that doesn't, I may be taking down a lot more notes. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking down a lot more notes because I'm gonna have to use these bulletized points to do research with later on. As in somebody's telling me I work with this, and this. I've been in sport this long. Da da da. Okay, talk to me. I'm just cataloging information. And then, yeah, I may be taking down some bulletized points, but it may not be as much as the ones before because I'm listening to the guy who's actually in the sport. So I'm like, okay, they would know. You know what I'm saying? They would know. That stands out to me. Boom. Let me write that down. That stands out to me. Write that down right there. It's a difference, man. You know what I'm saying? Like once again, it's hard to tell brothers. There's no knock on them. There's no knock on Fanon, but I'm using common sense. I'm college educated too, bro. Like, man, you know, you just can't sit up here and convince me that every business is the same. Just because you have legal experience and you may be an attorney. You know how many attorneys that don't represent anybody? How many attorneys that just do paperwork? I mean, attorney, you run into an attorney, you have an attorney say, okay, how many courtrooms have you sat in? None. They're gonna separate themselves from you right then. How many courtrooms have you fought cases in? What level of cases have you fought? On what level? Or what court? No, just pretty much did what I did. Man, they're gonna say you can't talk to me, dog. I did some of the biggest court cases you could think about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, bro. Man, we smarter than that, dog. That's all I'm saying. You're right, W says spot on as usual. I have Bill Haney's number. I can easily find out if Fanon has seen Bill Haney's contracts and confirm if this is a fact or not. Now that would be crazy. Speaking of Bill Haney, a person who only allows the information that he wants you to know distributed. That's what I gather from him. He is not the kind of person who's just going to loosely present documentation and information out to people that's one, not on his team, and he's not sure they are beneficial to his fighter, his son Devin. You know, that's just not what he does, bro. And you know, the man is very educated. He's been in the game for a while, but he's only going to talk that shit to people that he trusts, that he understands, who he don't have to break shit all the way down. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's just the way I see it, bro. That's a good point, Coach. I mean, is that live about the contracts going down today, or is it already happened? Yeah, now that would be a good, be good. I don't know if Bill sent that MF over, but Fanon did tell Bill directly, if you want me to look at your contract, I will. Okay, if we talking about the time, first of all, let's establish the connection here. All right. We all know Bill and Fanon did not have a rapport like that, you know, when it comes to cordial. All right. Then you have to look at the fact Bill showing up on the show. Okay, Bill pull up anytime, anywhere. That's what he does, bro. He's been in the game of boxing since the wee high, and he knows the shit behind the scenes. But I'm gonna go on record, and I feel good about being on record with this. He's not gonna let Fanon look over a goddamn thing. I don't have to be close to the team. He's not gonna allow it to happen, dog. Stop playing, man. Come on, Bloods, man. You know goddamn well. Bill ain't gonna let Fidel look at a motherfucking thing, dog. Look. If Bill does let him look at it, that ain't gonna be the contract, dog. Bill ain't gonna let him see the real shit. He can say, hey, where's those templates that we had over here? Those dummy contracts that we printed off Google. Where's those contracts? Yeah, send that to Fanon. Man, come on. Bill ain't gonna do that, man. He's much smarter than that. The shit don't go like that on boxing, bro. It doesn't. Nah. Boots ain't no wild undercard, man. Who's he fighting? Come on now. Regardless if there's been minimal promotion, do you think Boots would have been out? You know what I'm saying? YSM Sports would have already spoke on it, because that's one of the media outlets that's always in the camp of Boots over there. So, no. You know what I'm saying? You got Gary Antoine Russell that's at 118. He's fighting on that. You know what I'm saying? You got some pretty decent names on there. Real talk. But he did say that after speaking to a fellow attorney, Bob Arum's contracts are contracts of adhesion. That's why Bill be saying the shit the way he do. Slick talking. So we talking about adhesion. Well, goddamn, Al Heyman contract must be tar. That shit might be straight up tar and tree sap. If Bob Arum's contract, and of course, I'm just speaking as an overlay, right? If we're talking about what Bob Arum's contract is, we have no names. Okay, you said a fellow attorney that does nothing for me because that's hearsay. That's hearsay. You're talking about adhesiveness. Well, goddamn it, PBC contracts to have fighters not say anything bad as a gag order, and then you have to say thank you, Al Heyman. And I have to make sure my team is close by after I end the fight. That's why Derrick James be whispering in Errol Spence's ear to make sure he hit all the wickets. You know you're gonna get fined. Stay focused. You know you're gonna get fined. You say thank Al Heyman, love Al Heyman, and they ask you about your next fight. Well, I gotta speak to Al Heyman. You understand that? Hit those 3 wickets right there. We good. I don't want to get fined behind the scenes now. I want my money. I'm telling you, Al Heyman got them the tree sap, motherfucker mixed in with damn tar, freshly made tar. Shit, talking about adhesiveness. Hey man, talk your talk, dog. Listen, I'm just speaking from a generalization. Real talk. I can't go into detail about the legality of something, nor am I going to discredit Fanon in saying that he don't know anything about it. That's just like people say you don't know shit about boxing. No, I can't say that. I won't say that because that's not true. He does have viable knowledge in that field. But me, I can still say on the outside looking in, giving my opinion that every business isn't run the same. And you want to talk about Bill Haney, Bill is not going to disperse information. It don't matter if you're an attorney or not. Just like Coach said, are you a legal representative for a client that is a boxer? Are you a part of a team? If so, then we can talk a little bit more business. If you can name drop boxers who you have been hired. If you have multiple fighters that you've dealt with in the sport of boxing and you've been a part of the sport for this many years, then guess what? You have the foundation for that shit. You have the background, man. You know what I'm saying? You like they say in boxing, you have the pedigree to speak on that shit. Everybody that has a professional boxing license don't have a pedigree, but they're a professional boxer. How many fights you had amateur? 0. And this is your debut? Yep. So where you plan on going in boxing? Check. You check with that fighter 10 fights from now. They 2-10. You a professional boxer? Yep. Look me up on BoxRec, bro. You type in that shit. Sure enough, they got a BoxRec 2-10. Does that make them the top of the cream of the crop? Hell no. But they have the paperwork to say that, hey, I'm a professional boxer. You understand, bro. You understand. Bud gonna start say, I hate we can't even discuss the fight yet. Bud will literally retire Spence. You know what I'm saying? It's over, bro. He's stopping Spence, man. He's stopping him, bro. Terrence Crawford's the boogeyman. Let's not ever forget that shit. Fanon did say that exact thing, that Al Heyman views Bud as the peasant or the peon in negotiating situation. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way I can look at it, man. I don't have to be behind the scenes and shit and see how the man. Look, I was in there. I was in those rooms where I was treated like the subordinate. And then, when I increased my tenure, then I was the one that was in there basically calling everybody to order, to listen up and all this other shit. That's just the way the pecking order and the chain of command works. But the crazy part about this pecking order is it ain't no military chain of command in this civilian life in boxing. Nobody is in charge of this structure per se. All right. Even Al Heyman has people he has to answer to. And you probably ask yourself, well, what are you talking about? Well, he has people that he's dependent on to invest money. He has certain people that he has to make happy too. I mean, we're not gonna overlook that allegedly there was people that invested and haven't got a return. So therefore, he has people that he's dealing with, business aspect that means a lot, that he has to respect. Now, there's no way that Bud Crawford. Let me put it this way: there's no way that Jake Paul, just because he has money, is going to go over there to Al Heyman and try to dictate something, or trying to be a part of the boardroom, and he's the last say so. He's going to be a part of some like made up governing body. It's not going to happen. But both of them are financially, well off, and they're dealing with boxing per se. But Jake Paul is not going to go over there and take the position of Al Heyman. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's legal paperwork. If something happened to Al Heyman, somebody else already lined up to take that. Jake Paul may be dealing with boxing with his MVP promotion, but that's just like I say, it's plenty of branches bearing fruit in the sport. He's one of them. You're talking about a Vines creator, a YouTube content creator, turned over to boxing. You know what I'm saying? Always had a spoon in his mouth, silver, gold, whatever. And he's able to participate as if he's a big deal. Look at this brother Logan. He's over there on WWE doing all this shit. But they would never take the place of Al Heyman, bro. They can be promoters all day long, but it's levels to promotions too. It's levels to attorneys. It's levels in the military. It's levels to civilian authority. It's levels, bro. If Al has to call Bud every time he wants to make a decision, it's going to slow down operations. If Al is trying to do something and Bud is on a date with his wife and can talk, Al got to wait on Bud. Now, a Blunts and Boxing, I think you're being extremely petty, dog. Seriously? Look, if the fight, we're talking about a window for which they're trying to make the fight, bro. So we're not talking about a whole year. We're not talking about 6 months where they're going to be trying to get in contact with him. If everything's in place and they try to make it as best as they possibly can, okay, boom. Get on the phone and call whoever. You're saying Bud, but guess what? I'm pretty sure Bud has an option. He has other names out there. You know how you have the emergency call list? If they can't get in contact with Bud, they can get in contact with somebody that's on his team. It's not going to just be Bud out with his girl. It's, hey, hold on. Yeah. It's not working like that, bro. It's not working. I'm pretty sure, Al is not even going to be the one that's calling him, bro. I'm pretty sure it's going to be somebody else close to Al making those phone calls. You know what I'm saying? And he should wait on Bud. He should. For real. Because they need Bud, right? They need Bud to make all this happen, right? They need that other belt, the WBO belt. It's a priority. So they just supposed to run over the man, step on his shoes, you know what I'm saying, knock him over, trip him, step on his back, keep walking. No, man, they need to go through the whole necessary goddamn obstacle course, man, just like they taking him through. They need to make the necessary phone calls like people do in business. This is not a hush-hush, rush type of deal. Take your time. Make sure he's damn paid fairly, bro. That was the way it was explained to me, OG. Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure, like I said, I don't know who explained that to you. I don't know what scale I'm rating your source on who told you that. And if it's one source, then I'm going to tell you maybe you should talk to another source. You got to have more than one source, bro. It just can't be for none or nothing. I'll tell Fanon that, period. It's not just him or nothing. It's just like, it's not like Fanon and the one who wrote 90% of the Bible. Like I said before, he does have education in that field, but I'm not just listening to him when it comes to legal. I'm gonna if I take the information and source it to somebody I do know that's in the business. The fight will happen when people don't care no more about it. And I would drop the link, but I got somewhere to go in a little bit. That's all. We might be able to discuss this a little bit later. Feel me? Man, it's good to surf these waves out here because you get to listen to people's language, man. Y'all are paying attention to a lot. I get it, man. But it's good that people will settle in and get this common knowledge. But I go to fights too. I've been sitting in enough like regional cards all the way up to the top cards behind the scenes and having these sidebar conversations. I'm there, dog. I'm there. I'm listening. I've been there when teams are talking behind the scenes about business and shit like that. Perfect example we just witnessed. Perfect example, Blunts and Boxing, was a situation that went down where Tevin Farmer and Mickey Bay was supposed to fight, and then you had Edmund Nichols. They were trying to get that man to go out there because the co-promotion didn't have the money, so they was just making it seem like online that he was going to get paid $100. That's it, and Devin Haney was going to pay for the $100. If he would have went into another agreement with Devin Haney, then the co-promoter, as far as go for insurance and everything else for the health of that fighter, would have been none and void. Now he's in a contract, a verbal contract with Devin Haney. But guess what? Edmund's dad say, show us a contract. Because if anything goes in there and happens to their son, they want to make sure they have insurance and they taken care of. Fuck the $100. He go in there, he get knocked out cold or whatever the case, he get injured. It ain't just like, hey, you didn't sign no paperwork with me. You just say you're going to take the $100 and that's it. That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. That's a perfect example, man. People's like, oh, he was just getting paid $100. That on then go take the fight. That voids out the contract that the co-promoter had with the fighters. The co-promoters didn't have the money. The co-promoter didn't have the money, but they agreed to pay them something because the fighters can't fight for free. But the fight card ended up dropping out when it got to the damn, the big names because they didn't have the money. You can't pay Mickey Bay and Tevin Farmer, you know what I'm saying, $100 to fight on the main event. It ain't gonna happen. They said, fuck that. That ain't worth my time. That's all I'm saying, bro. So basically, Crawford should just shut up and take what they give him. Can't take business advice from these YouTube channels. I agree, man. And you stay on YouTube, you only have certain channels that's on here. You have a collective group of channels that's on here that you can listen to. And look, when it comes to debating and stuff like that, you can always know who's been listening to what channel. That's why you got to mix it up and take time off from certain channels. Or if you have the discipline to listen to these channels and don't talk about it as if it's scripture. You know what I'm saying? As if it's scripture, because that's where you're gonna fail yourself. You can pick up some knowledge and shit, but you just can't go up here just quoting one person. You know what I'm saying? And like to be petty, okay, to be petty, if I'm quoting one person and I'm putting them in a position, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say it's a fighter and I'm listening to a fighter tell me about this, that, and the other, about how business work and how this, that, and the other. And then I do research on this fighter and he was barely in the sport, at least about 4 or 5 years. He had a terrible record. And because, within that time, he only had like 3 or 4 fights. And he go up here and tell people, well, how my contract situation was, it was fucked up because I went here and did this and I was still locked into that. It's not too much. I'm deaf at that time. I'm like, okay. He's intermittent to me. I'm listening to him, but it's really nothing I'm going to hold him to say, okay, I'm just going to use what he say as freaking merit. Because he can't tell me the whole scale. He wasn't in the sport long enough as a fighter. He was there for a short stint. He did bad business. His boxing record was shit. But yet he can get on here and tell you how boxing work in general from the dark side, because that's all he knows. I want to talk to somebody 15, 20, 25, you know what I'm saying, got out the sport, did a good 15 years, 10, 15 years in the sport, got out that motherfucker, and still somehow, some way associated with the sport. I want to talk to those people. I want to talk to the attorneys who's actually have clients as boxers. He said, sound like a 360 deal, man. You know they exist. So how he's supposed to set a limit on the cost of operations? Y'all keep on repeating what Fanon said. How's Bud Crawford supposed to set a limit on the cost of operations? If he's not with a promotion and he has a manager, and let's just say he set up there and submitted cost of operations, this is one of my demands. They're already saying Bud is over here doing what? Making all these demands, right? Being a diva, right? What if one of those demands was that, which it was, right? Bud want to, take a look at the numbers and all this other shit. He want Al Heyman or whoever is closer to Al Heyman to get in contact with him. That's the demand, right? So when it comes to setting cost of operations, is that not a demand? So which one is it? You're going to allow him to set demands or you're not? If you're going to allow him to make demands, you got to respect that he's making demands. Don't complain about somebody making demands and then say he's being a diva or he don't supposed to do it. He's just supposed to sit there and say nothing. Like, are you respecting the fact that he's trying to do a clean build of business? You know what I'm saying? He's trying to make it work out for him. Because he's the B side, C side, D side, E side. You know what I'm saying? This man's trying to fight for his life in negotiations just to make it to the ring. So what are you going to do? You're going to respect the fact that he's damn making demands. And one of those demands is what? The cost of operations. I've heard it several times. So since the cost of operations is the demand, did somebody sign off on the cost of operations already? Because it seemed like he can't get shit approved. Isn't the cost of operations a demand at Blunts and Boxing? It's a demand, brother. What do you think? He's just gonna say, cost of operations, please, at this point. Okay, verbal. Everybody verbal agreement. That's not the way it's working. He has to submit paperwork on the cost of operations and be descriptive, bro. Isn't that a demand? So when does the demands come and for somebody to call him a diva and making these demands if he's trying to negotiate and do business? What part of it do y'all respect? You keep saying cost of operations. How is he supposed to make a demand for cost of operations if they're not approving shit? If one hand you say that, oh, Al Heyman shouldn't be calling him out, he's with his wife and all that, but then he say, okay, cost of operations. Oh, how dare he? How dare he do the cost of operations? That's easy for Fanon to say, but he's not there as an advocate for a fighter. Terrence Crawford is not his client. I'm glad that we have a real businessman that is also a fan of boxing instead of them fake fanboys. I'm about to subscribe to your channel. Man, this shit. I'm just saying, man, like, I'm just saying, bro. Come on, man. If that is going to be mentioned over and over again, isn't everything else falls in line with those demands? Isn't it? Like, come on, man. What are we doing to ourselves? If the man is asking for oversight, if the man is asking for Al or whoever to allow him to approve expenses, is that not a demand? Yes, it is. So therefore, if you turn around and look at the cost of operations, Set the limit for the cost of operation. Is that not a demand? I'm trying to set a limit for the cost of operations. So therefore, if my first demand wasn't approved, why is my second command going to get approved any easier? I can agree with all business not being the same, but if that's the case, at New Media, when you drop your video with the contract info, we can't apply it to the scenario, right? I'll leave that up to that, because look, this whole entire process would be a scenario, because every fight is different. The level of each fighter is different. Who they're fighting is different. The purse numbers are different. Some fighters are assigned to a promotion, some are not. So, of course, the negotiation leverage is different from the B-side fighter to the A-side fighter. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many levels, man. There's so many moving parts that goes along with this business that you just can't go in through one door and say, this is everything I need to see right here. This is going to be short, quick, and simple. That's not boxing, bro. That's not boxing. Every fighter ain't the same, man. Shaw say, man, it sounds like Big Al and then my moving foul. He had the white boy Mac call him a duck. Man, hey, bro. Crawford, they talking about Crawford should where's that? When they talk about setting a limit and all that, man, that's business. That's the demand, bro. We did see Bill try and call the attorney live on the Boxing Voice, trying to get the attorney to say some shit. Lawyer hung up the phone on a nigga. I'm not speaking about this on exactly. So therefore, if that is the case, right? Blunts and boxing. If that's the case, then why are we sitting up here regurgitating something that a voice, a single channel, who obviously people are listening to? Why are we taking that attorney hanging up and understanding that's not the way business is done, to sitting up here believing the words as if they're scriptures to say, hey, I can call the camps and we can talk about business. I can go up here and talk to y'all about it. I have contracts here and there. There's top rank contracts. Listen, that attorney that hung up, I would rather, put more merit into talking to him behind the scenes and all this offline, because he understands the confidentiality. Over here, what you talking about, and a lot of other people listen to people talk about common language. That's not the language in certain people's contract, just common language based off experience. Common fucking language is attainable when you have, history and experience in doing certain things such as legality and, legal representation or whatever. But it has to be in the line of the sport of boxing. You have to have some type of experience with boxers. Who have you represented? Who have your clients been in the sport of boxing? You can't say that Crawford is doing too much if you're talking about on a legal perspective. That is one of your duties, to make sure your client is taken care of. So therefore, whoever Crawford's talking to, they're basically informing him and advising him this and this and this. That's a demand. So Crawford wants to go in there and say, okay, I want to get the approval of this. That's the demand. And then turn around and Fanon says, oh, all he has to do is set a limit. That has to be approved. Crawford ain't the approving authority. That's another demand that he has to send up to PBC to get approved. If he was the approving authority, he'd just write up the shit himself, sign it. That's what I am. Take it or leave it. That's where I'm at with it right there. All this right here. I want guaranteed money. I want this. No, he's not the approving authority. You know why? Because he's trying to fight for net. He's trying to fight for 35% of the net. And that 35% to some people seem high, but they're ignoring the fact that, oh, that's after everybody else get paid. So in order for us to understand who got paid, we need to know what was paid. Once again, we need to know what was paid. Hey, do your shit there, Crawford. Good shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hold them accountable as you hold yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Man, Bill is not gonna let Fanon check out any document, especially a freaking a contract on an open fight, and Top Rank is involved. That ain't gonna happen. Shit. Just like Bernie, you think I'm stupid? You think I'm stupid? That's not gonna happen. Look, Bill Haney ain't gonna let. Man, Bill Haney ain't gonna let if they have a rematch come up. They say, if you want me to take a look at your contract, man, they're not even boys like that, man. Bill been in the game too long for that, bro. What's going on, Corey? Salute to you. Salute to everyone in the building, man. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you so please. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. BIG on deck. What's good? Fanon is this. He don't know. No, Fanon, he has his level. He has his area of intelligence. Period. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit up here and discredit. I don't care if Fanon supports me or not. I'm not that type of dude to just sit up here and say bullshit on people and all that. You know, just because they associate themselves with certain people, none of that. But in his area of expertise, he has knowledge. That's all I say on that. Just like I do. I have I'm able to talk on my area of expertise. That's it, bro. I'm not gonna call the man out his name. But if you come for me, I have no other recourse except to return fire. That's it. I'm keeping it respectful, professional. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, don't listen to just a single source of information on here. You have every right to do more research, man, and widen it open and to research. You have all the sources, search engines galore out here. You know what I'm saying? You can reword the inquiries in that motherfucker, press enter and find out your info, dog. That's it. I thought Bud agreed to all terms. Okay, once again, Jake. Okay. I can see, you know, where you want to go with this, because I've heard it so much. I can tell you the channels that you've heard this shit from. Check this out, though. I thought Bud agreed to all terms. No, I thought it was everything. Let's lose everything. Bud agreed to everything. Once again, from the outside looking in, if Bud agreed to everything, everything of what? Everything of what? If Bud agreed to 35%, you know what I'm saying? If Bud agreed to the 35%, everything that was on the table at the time, are we talking about everything that was on the table at the time? I agreed to everything that was on the table at the time. He is not the approving authority. So if he agreed to everything that was presented at that time, that doesn't mean it wasn't something else pertaining on the other end that they're still trying to work out. They didn't even have, we're talking about venues. We're talking about royalties. We're talking about back end. We're talking about all the other bullshit I don't like talking about. So if he agreed to everything that was up there right away, you know what I'm saying? Fight venue and all this other shit. Okay, cool. But was that something else over there that they were still working out that he couldn't agree on? Did he agree on everything that was accessible? And then he was waiting to agree to the final details to zip everything up and make it, you know, a done deal. Man, we're not playing, you know, Tonka toys here. This is motherfucking real life boxing shit. This is big deal shit. You know what I'm saying? This is big boy pants shit. You know, a lot of people getting paid off this. This is not something you rush. This is not something we can listen to somebody call a fighter a diva for making demands, but yet we supposed to ask questions, right? You're not going to just walk into a house and take the price and not negotiate. especially if the house doesn't look like it has the value that they're asking. Oh, this is a 500 square foot home. Why do you want 500,000 for it? Duh. It sits on top of a hill. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to do that shit, bro. What terms? All the terms that was there readily available to him? And was it something else remaining for him to agree on that wasn't ready for him? They were still trying to work that shit out to present it to him. I mean, I understand. I listen to the channels, man. I know where y'all going with this bullshit. Like I said, those same people was on the outside looking in like I am. So they can say what they want. Now all of a sudden, everything means something. Hey, shout out to Truly. For the $10 super chat, it says salute W says, I guess the new narrative is Crawford is trying to call the shots on where the money goes. That is the furthest from the truth. And now they are saying it's not his money for transparency. That's a good part, man. That's a good point. I don't know why this man cannot get any type of leverage from the people. Like why don't the people? It's not all of us. Why don't the people understand how smart he's acting, how intelligent this, how much courage it takes to do this, to make sure everything is right, not just being impulsive and saying, I want to go into the ring and fight this guy by all means necessary. He don't have to do that. He doesn't have to do that. He has a point in his career where these decisions that he's making, they're supposed to be common because he's been in the sport long enough. He said 20 years, right? Amateur all the way up to now. You know what I'm saying? First term professional in 2008. He's been in the sport long enough, right? So therefore, if he's at a point of the biggest fight of his career, all of a sudden he's just supposed to put his hand over his eye. Give me the pen. Why I got my hand on my eye? Hurry up. Give me the pen. Go. Bring the paper. I don't have to read it. Bring the paper. Tell me where to put my pen down. Okay, cool. I got it from here. He signs his life away. That is the stupidest scenario. The man's supposed to be asking questions all day, every day. All day, every day. He's supposed to be asking questions, man. Hey, thanks for that super chat, Israel. What they don't understand is Terrence Crawford money. They are making money off of him as well as Errol Spence. Yes, sir. But when you're talking about them making money, they act like they're supposed to make majority of the freaking purse off the back of Terrence Crawford. But see, what they're not including in that Israel is the fact that Errol Spence, he has people he has to pay too. He has people he has to pay, so much to the point where he's being taken advantage of, right? So they have to take advantage of Crawford, because if you notice, all the Spencerholics, they never talk about what Spence is making. They don't talk about what he's making. All they want to hear is 65-35. Oh yeah, my boy Errol, he getting the lion's share, 65%. Okay, what does that 65% consist of? Who does he have to pay? How is his back end arrangement? What is that like? What is Errol Spence back end arrangement? What percentage is Al getting? And everybody else, what are they getting? So therefore, if he has to pay out all that money and he's in a dog contract, well, guess what? They're going to try to dog the fuck out of Crawford, because they don't want Crawford to come up with a better outcome contractually than Spence. Because if Spence is not making that much money, they're not making that much money. So they're going to try to make sure Spence make the most money, so at least he can get something. They're going to leave him some on the plate. Neck bone. You know what I'm saying? Wishbone. Something. They're going to leave Spence something on the plate to nibble on. It is crazy, bro. Asian Mouth, what's good? Breaking news. True Spence willing to pay half the agreed guarantee purse from his side. From his side of negotiations. True Spence willing to pay half the agreed guarantee purse from his side of negotiations. For his side of negotiations. If that just went down while I've been on here, that's something I have to research before I even speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Because according to who broke the news, let me be petty. Let me be petty and see if I even see any of this shit going on. Let me see, Crawford. I'm just trying to see if I see any of this shit going on, man. Let me see. Okay, I mean, I have to do my research first before I even speak on any of this shit. But facts, I was just telling them that PBC don't care about Errol Spence's legacy if it comes to Crawford. Errol Spence is on the verge of growing out of the division. He may not even be able to fight at 147. With that said, in my opinion, Spence getting ready for the Ugas fight, he had to be locked in for a long period of time. And also, I want y'all to go to VADA and take a look at VADA. That's all I'm saying. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me, but just take a look at VADA and see who's on the clean boxing program and when they last completed it and all this other stuff. That's all I'm saying, bro. I ain't making no accusations. I'm just saying, bro, just take a look at the program. When it comes to the, fighters making weight in that division and everything that's happening behind the scenes contractually, you might want to pay attention to the stuff like that, bro. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Spence, in my opinion, they used to say he was a weight bully and he this, that, and the other. And then they, talking about he was supposedly the boogeyman and all this other shit. Hey, they had a nutrition and that man was skinny a month and a half out before the fight. He was skinny. You know what I'm saying? That takes a lot to maintain that weight that far out from a fight. It takes a lot of mental strength, and it's taxing on your body to maintain that weight. It does. It's taxing on that body to be on, close to weight that far out from a fight. But that's probably what they had to do. They had to do extreme measures so he can step in there with Yardenas Ugas. He might have spent a lot of that camp freaking cutting weight. You never know. But when it boils down to it, he got the belt. But all I'm saying is the information is out there, man. I'm just asking the listeners to go check out VADA and check out the fighters when they last completed the clean boxing program. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's all I'm saying, bro. Don't get mad at me. Don't shoot the messenger. Just go check that out. But shout out to King Asian Math on deck. What's good with it? Hey man, I gotta bounce. You know what I'm saying? I'll be back on here later. If y'all want to chop this up a little bit more clarity. But appreciate all y'all for your information, dropping your content. Dropping your input and everything. Very educational. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna always agree. You gotta drop this disclosure, y'all. Because people be taking this shit personal. We ain't always agree, God damn it. But at least we all learn something. You feel me? You feel me? You gotta put that out there, dog. Because things can get dark real quick. We know that. But man, y'all turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. Hit the like button on your way out. And thanks for pulling up, man. Salute.